Chapter 176. In front of him, Ning Fan was sitting cross-legged, drawing the earth fire to concoct pills. There was no need for the other nascent soul realm cultivators to treat revered Snow's injuries. All the nascent soul realm cultivators would either defend the city or eliminate the demons. All the decisive battles would have to wait for revered Snow to recover. Jushan Pass would then be considered less dangerous. When Ning Fan took out the Dan fragmentation cauldron, the corners of revered Snow's eyes shrank. When Ning Fan used his finger to draw 4 fire rings in front of the pill cauldron, the corner of revered Snow's eyes shrunk again. This cauldron was only an elementary high-grade artifact, but it was forged from the rotten divine metal of the demon world. Furthermore, it was imbued with the divine ability of the transformation realm, Body Lock. This was a magic treasure tailor-made by the old devil after he was injured. With his late harmonious spirit magical power, he could barely wield a high-grade magical treasure. Even so, the defense of this cauldron had reached an unimaginable level because of the rotten divine metal. Regardless of the grade, the material alone was already comparable to the 10 cauldrons of the Rain world. He is indeed the disciple of Deacon Han. Deacon Han went to the Sword world and left this cauldron to his disciple. And there should be no mistake. When revered Snow saw Ning Fan drawing the flame ring, his heart was first filled with shock and then he was overjoyed. He didn't know the 9 revolutions of the river cart, but he could tell that this was an ancient alchemy technique. Moreover, Ning Fan had drawn 4 rings. The effect of the rings was enough to suppress the medicinal power of a 1,000-year-old spiritual herb and fuse it into a pill. Is this kid really a 4th revolution Dan master? Revered Snow made up his mind and stood in silence, not daring to disturb him. There were only a few hundred 4th revolution pill refinement masters in the Rain world. Even if Ning Fan's identity was excluded, Revered Snow would still pay more attention to 4th revolution pill refinement masters compared to nascent soul realm cultivators. A 4th revolution pill master who was not even 20 years old. With such potential, it was worth it to befriend him. Ning Fan, who was in the midst of concocting pills, did not know that Revered Snow did not harbor any hostility towards him at all. Instead, he felt wary, trusted, and wanted to befriend him. He explained to Venerable Snow as he refined the elixir pills, afraid that Venerable Snow would be restless while waiting. Senior, you don't have to worry. This poison is called Absolute Een. I have cured a person before with a low-grade 4th revolution pill, the profound 7 Yin Yang pill. Revered Snow did not expect that Ning Fan would still have the energy to concoct a 4th revolution pill. Thus, he could not help but regard Ning Fan's pill refinement technique in a higher light. Only mid-grade 4th revolution pill refinement masters could concoct low-grade 4th revolution pills with ease. This kid is actually an intermediate 4th revolution pill refinement master? Revered Snow's expression changed drastically when he heard about the Absolute Een poison. It's actually this poison. Has Senior heard of this poison? Ning Fan's eyelids twitched. The name of this poison only existed in the ancient times. Even the old devil did not know about it. How could a mere spirit-severing Snow know about it? If it's this poison, then that's right. This lord went to the Dragon Dream Swamp to rescue that reckless Yun Lai. However, I encountered a sneak attack from the Demon General. That Demon General was at the early divine transformation realm just like this lord. After a round of battle, he was on par with this lord. However, in the end, he transformed into a 1,000-feet-long blood carp and spat out a mouthful of blood mist which contained a trace of black blood. That black blood easily penetrated the spirit armor and entered my body. If I hadn't immediately returned to Jushan Pass, my cultivation would have been greatly damaged. Little friend Zhou might not know this, but this poison is unique to the demon spirit land. It was refined by the Void Refinement Demon Commander-in-Chief's cold Een poison. It's really inconceivable that this demon general was able to obtain a sliver of Absolute Een poison. Revered Snow's words were filled with mixed emotions. He felt lucky that he did not have the immemorial divine veins. Otherwise, this Absolute Een poison would have already wreaked havoc in his body and he would not be able to suppress it. As for the information he mentioned, It made Ning Fan ponder for a while. While he was thinking, his fingers were still controlling the fire to concoct the pill. So, absolute in poison is a demon poison. Ancient Chaos did not mention anything about the demon poison. It should be because his memory was incomplete. As for the demon spirit land, Ancient Chaos did not know about it. It should be something that belonged to the later generations. Absolute in demon poison? The old devil's enemies include the White Devil sect, the traitor of Moksha Emperor, and the demon spirit land? Where is the demon spirit land? His eyes flashed and asked. Since little friend Zhou wants to know, I can tell you about it. It's not a secret. The demon spirit land is the ruins of the ancient demon world. Just like the ancient heavenly court, it exists in the broken realm. The path to the void realm has been cut off. You can't go there directly. You can only reach it by using special methods and at a specific time. In the ancient heavenly court, there is the immortal ascension pool that people yearn for. Every time the ancient heavenly court reappears, it is the most exciting moment for the cultivators of the 9 worlds. If one is lucky enough to find this pool in the ancient heavenly court, he or she might be able to become an immortal in a single step. As for the demon spirit land, it is the exact opposite. Most of the cultivators of the 9 worlds are unwilling to enter it no matter what. Once they enter it, they will die. Because there are countless powerful ancient demon clans that are sleeping in it. Occasionally, some powerful demons will awaken and break their realms and descend upon the place, causing great trouble. Of course, the people of the demon world might be willing to find the entrance to the demon spirit land. As for the demon spirit land, only the 10 sovereigns of the demon world know when and where to enter the demon spirit land. When the 10 sovereigns of the demon world was mentioned, revered Snow's eyelids twitched. When the demon tide rose, the 10 sovereigns of the demon world ordered the rain world not to send any void realm experts to deal with the demon generals. Even if the demon tide was quelled, the demons could be killed, but the demon generals must be handed over to the demon world. The rain world is much weaker than the demon world. If it wasn't for the promise of the 9 worlds, the demon world could easily trample the rain world to the ground. The best outcome of this mission is to capture the demon generals and eliminate all the lesser demons. At the end of the day, the demon generals cannot be killed. Revered Snow did not like this kind of feeling. As for this matter, it was a secret of the Rain Palace. He could not tell Ning Fan about it to avoid damaging the reputation of the Rain Palace. Revered Snow remained silent. Ning Fan was also deep in thought. Only the pill flame in the cauldron was still boiling with medicinal power. With a flick of his finger, the pill flame appeared clearly in Ning Fan's eyes. 6 days passed and a strange phenomenon appeared. The pill was completed. In just 6 days, he managed to concoct a low-grade 4th revolution pill. To Ning Fan, who had already reached the 5th revolution, it was nothing. However, this matter surprised Revered Snow. Could it be that Ning Fan's pill concoction technique has already reached the peak of the 4th revolution or even the 5th revolution? Impossible. A 20-year-old 4th revolution pill master is already considered a monster. If it's a 5th revolution pill master, in the Rain world, there are only 27 5th revolution pill masters, and there is only one person who can break through to the 5th revolution within 1,000 years. That person is the only 6th revolution pill master in the Rain Palace. Even the Rain Sovereign has to treat him politely. If this young man is really a 5th revolution pill master. No, even if he is just a peak 4th revolution pill master, he will have the chance to become the first 7th revolution pill master in the Rain world in this lifetime. At this moment, Revered Snow's intention to befriend Ning Fan was deeply buried in his heart. Even if Ning Fan fails to become a 7th revolution pill master, with Ning Fan's aptitude, he would at least become a 6th revolution pill master in this lifetime. Such aptitude was enough for him to befriend him. Without waiting for Ning Fan's order, he used an escape technique and dashed out of the waterfall. Then he easily erased the 4th revolution heavenly tribulation. When the 4th revolution pill was formed, not only the nascent soul realm cultivators who went out to kill the demons, but all the cultivators who stayed in Jushan Mountain Pass noticed the strange phenomenon. Strange phenomenon of heaven and earth. A fourth revolution pill. That Zhou Ming is really a fourth revolution pill master. As for Yun Rui, she was caressing the incense burner lazily in her room. Her hands were moving the ashes of the incense. When she smelled the strange phenomenon, her beautiful face was filled with shock. Fourth revolution. Fourth revolution. He's a fourth revolution pill master. Yun Rui let out a sigh and closed her eyes. I can't get rid of this heart devil. I can't get rid of it. In a huge residence in Jushan Mountain Pass, Yun Kuang was treating the injuries he sustained when Ning Fan snatched his sword from him. Even though he had left in advance, someone had already informed him about Ning Fan curing revered Snow's poison. Fourth revolution pill master. How can you possibly be a fourth revolution pill master? He sneered. However, his sneer seemed extremely ridiculous under the strange phenomenon of heaven and earth 6 days later. He's really a fourth revolution pill master. How can this be? Yun Kuang's heart thumped. Originally, he was hoping that Ning Fan would not be able to cure revered Snow and end up angering him and causing him to lose the cold pine marrow. Then he would be able to beat Ning Fan when he's down. Not only would he take back the shadow-bearing sword, but he could also humiliate Ning Fan or even take his life if he has the chance. Today, however, the fourth revolution pill was completed. It meant that what Ning Fan said was true. He probably could cure revered Snow. Once he cured revered Snow, he would gain revered Snow's favor and protection. Even if Yun Kuang also gained the favor of a revered elder of the Rain Palace, he would not dare to go against Ning Fan in public. Because he was afraid of offending revered Snow. I can only endure this hatred. He clenched his teeth unwillingly. He spat out a mouthful of blood that tasted sweet. Since the pill was completed in 6 days, there were naturally many speculations about Ning Fan's pill refinement technique. So what if they were just speculations? It would only make Ning Fan more mysterious. After that, Ning Fan just needed to make up a story about how special the pill he concocted was, and it would not take him much time to dispel everyone's doubts. In the depths of the waterfall, revered Snow consumed the 7 yin-yang profound pill. The poison gradually melted and his qi recovered. Ning Fan did not leave. His gaze fell on the waterfall. When he saw the spiritual qi in this place, his heart skipped a beat. Little Dugu had once given him a secret technique of the sword finger technique. This body refinement technique was extremely powerful. However, it had a strict requirement to cultivate it. It required one to devour the 5 elemental spirit veins, and the grade of the devoured spirit veins would increase gradually. The first sword finger technique would at least devour the spirit veins of nascent soul realm sections. Low-grade cultivation countries did not have that kind of spirit veins. However, a mid-grade cultivation country like Great Jin had it. Moreover, Jushan Pass was originally the place with the best spirit veins in Great Jin. Even the branch of the Rain Palace was built here. This spirit vein was perfect for cultivating the sword finger technique. However, if Ning Fan cultivates the sword finger technique, the spirit vein within 1,000 li radius of Jushan Pass would definitely be destroyed. If Ning Fan does such a thing, Great Jin would certainly be furious. If revered Snow is here to cover for me, this matter will be easier to handle. However, will revered Snow help me? Or, I might as well pour the dirty water on revered Snow. I can just say that I accidentally destroyed the spirit vein in Jushan Pass because I concocted a pill for revered Snow. Ning Fan remained calm and collected. Once again, he proposed to concoct a few types of pills to recover vitality for revered Snow. Naturally, revered Snow agreed to his request. The pill that he was going to concoct this time was a type of fourth revolution essence nurturing pill. However, Ning Fan deliberately slowed down his steps. While concocting the pill with his left hand, his right hand gently touched the ground and circulated the secret technique of the sword finger technique. Traces of the spirit vein gradually flowed into Ning Fan's fingertip, turning into a heart-wrenching pain. However, this pain was not as bearable as the third Jade Royal pill. As the spiritual qi of the earth vein flowed into his fingertip, his index finger gradually changed. That finger seemed to have turned into a sword. The body of the sword was forged with the power of mountains and rivers, while the traces of spiritual chi of the earth vein turned into a sword light that penetrated through the finger. In Ningfan's mind, the beautiful figure of the female sword ancestors seemed to appear. She was like a graceful butterfly that shuttled through a group of devils. With a flick of her finger, the sword light took their lives. Not enough. Not enough. 3 days later, the absorption force of Ningfan's finger became even more rapid, causing the entire Heaven Ruler waterfall to tremble. This kind of trembling was understood by the cultivators outside as the trembling of pill concoction. As for revered Snow, he opened his eyes and was inwardly shocked. He was shocked that Ningfan was actually absorbing the spiritual chi of the earth vein. This young man is absorbing the spiritual chi of the earth vein in the name of pill concoction. Good plan. Revered Snow smiled disapprovingly. From his point of view, Ningfan was probably using a secret technique to forcefully absorb the spiritual chi of the earth vein to increase his cultivation base. This kind of secret technique existed. However, the increase in cultivation base was extremely limited. Moreover, Ningfan was already at the half-step gold core realm. The increase in his cultivation base was very little and he could not absorb much spiritual chi of the earth vein. However, 7 days later, revered Snow could only smile bitterly. 2/3 of the spiritual chi of the earth vein of the Heaven Ruler waterfall had been absorbed by Ningfan and it did not seem to stop. This young man is trying to destroy the earth vein. What kind of cultivation method is he cultivating? Why is it so overbearing that it even destroys the earth vein? However, revered Snow did not stop him. Putting aside the fact that he still owed Ningfan a favor, he would also pretend to be unaware of Ningfan's identity. On the 10th day, the fragrance of pills spread out from the pill cauldron. At the same time, the sound of something breaking resounded within 1,000 li of Ju Shanguan. A sword light flashed. The earth vein was broken. Sword finger, completed. Ningfan patted the lid of the cauldron. He did not look at the pills in the cauldron but at the finger of his right hand. Sword finger, the first finger. The first finger, mountain crusher. The power that destroyed the earth vein within 1,000 li was the power of this finger. What a terrifying body refining technique. This finger almost exhausted all of my strength. However, the power of this finger is enough to destroy a mid-nascent soul realm cultivator. He muttered to himself without showing any expression on his face. At the moment when he stood up, revered Snow also stood up. In a flash, he went out to eliminate the heavenly tribulation. When he returned, he pretended to frown. This earth vein is actually destroyed. Please forgive me, Senior. When I was concocting pills, I did not have enough magic power. Thus, I tried to absorb some spiritual chi of the earth vein. Unexpectedly, I was careless and destroyed the earth vein. I wonder if Senior can help me to settle this trouble for the sake of my favor. Fine. I promise to help you once. Of course, I can settle this trouble for you. However, this matter was caused by little friend who was concocting pills for me. I can't blame little friend for this. It's my fault. This favor can be saved for the next time. Ningfan tried to use this favor to get rid of the trouble. However, it seemed like even without this favor, revered Snow was also very willing to be the scapegoat. Even though it was hard to accept the fact that he destroyed the earth vein by concocting fourth revolution pills twice, it seemed to be reasonable. Moreover, this matter was related to revered Snow. Even King Jean did not dare to pursue the matter further. The branch of the Rain Palace might have to move. After all, this Jushan Pass was probably going to be abandoned because of the demon tide. What surprised Ningfan was that revered Snow took the initiative to show goodwill to him. Originally, he thought that even if revered Snow agreed to turn a blind eye to this matter, he would probably be dissatisfied. However, to his surprise, revered Snow seemed to want to befriend him. Why is he so attentive to me? Is it because of my pill refinement potential? Ningfan was puzzled but he did not ask. In short, revered Snow should not be hostile. His goodwill was not a pretense. That was enough for him. The sword finger had been formed and he had one more trump card. It was enough to be a happy occasion. Next, it was time for the final battle. quelling the demon tide, accumulating battle merits and leaving. Chapter 177. The bad news was that the spiritual veins within 1,000 miles of Jushan Pass had been destroyed. However, this matter was shouldered by revered Snow alone. He claimed that he had used the power of the earth veins to heal himself. As such, no one dared to pursue the matter further. Unfortunately, even if the demon tide passed, the Jushan Pass would lose its spiritual vein and become a useless pass. The good news was the recovery of Venerable Snow and the antidote. It had already been 1.5 months since Ning Fan entered the territory of Great Jin. There was only 1.5 months left before the teleportation formation would be activated. He had no time to waste. He had to obtain battle merits. As the day of the decisive battle drew near, revered Snow gave the order. 19 nascent soul realm cultivators of the Rain Palace and 14 nascent soul realm cultivators of the Jin Army, a total of 33 people, were to form a team of 3, and each of them would lead a combat division to annihilate the Demon Tide stronghold. The reason why there was no end to the Demon Tide was that there were nascent soul realm old demons who set up demon enlightening cities in the fallen lands. They used the demon enlightening techniques to enlighten the little demons. This kind of enlightenment technique could forcibly turn an ordinary domestic animal into a demon. It could also forcefully increase the demonic power of a vein opening, harmonious spirit and gold core demonic beast by 1-fold. However, the price to pay was that the demonic beast would die within a few months. Moreover, the demonic beast would lose its mind and become crazy. The demon tide was only delaying the demon general's transformation into a dragon. However, if they ignored it, it would be troublesome to annihilate the demons in one go. Ning Fan was responsible for eliminating Ling Ju Ding of the northwest region. There was a demon city located at the peak of the mountains. It specialized in transforming flying demons, and it was rumored that there were several nascent soul old demons guarding it. Outside of Jushan Pass, a group of 21 Gold Core Realm cultivators and 257 Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivators of Jin Country boarded the Jin Shuttle and followed Ning Fan and the others towards Mount Lingju. The Jin Shuttle was a shuttle-shaped flying boat. Its speed was extremely fast, incomparable to a ship. However, its shortcoming was that this boat was too small, making it difficult to form a defensive formation. Moreover, its speed was so fast that it created wind, which was not something that a vein-opening junior could withstand. Only harmonious spirit experts and above could ride on it. One of them was Jie Xiu and the other was Yun Rui. The teams were decided based on who would go to Jushan Pass. Yun Rui was the last to arrive, while Ning Fan and Jie Xiu were the last to arrive. There was a subtle awkwardness between Ning Fan and Yun Rui. To Ning Fan, taking liberties with Yun Rui that day was really an act of helplessness. However, towards Yun Rui, the deep-rooted heart devil was not something that could be appeased by a mere apology. "I'm sorry about what happened that day. I've already forgotten about what happened at Lanrua Temple. You don't have to worry about it. As for you, I know all about your background. It's best if you don't try to be brave. If there are any mid-stage nascent soul monsters in the city, I'll deal with them." Yun Rui was a mid-nascent soul realm expert. Even though he had a lot of trump cards, he was still just a half-step gold core realm cultivator. Even if he had a trump card that could block Yun Kuang's sword, even if he could kill gold core realm demons like ants, even if he had a 4th revolution pill refinement technique, it would still be very dangerous for him to fight a mid-nascent soul realm demon to the death. Yun Rui's words did not contain any contempt. For example, killing a nascent soul realm demon would cause the demon's nascent soul to flee. It was not easy to kill a demon's nascent soul. From her point of view, Ning Fan was not a nascent soul realm cultivator after all. He could not teleport. It would be difficult for him to eliminate the old demon's nascent soul. Ning Fan did not refute or explain. The battle plan was made by Jie Xiu and Yun Rui. He stood at the bow of the shuttle with his hands clasped behind his back and his eyes closed. Beneath his feet were ruins, old mountains, and rivers. It was a desolate sight. There were also groups of reckless demons that were scattered in groups of 3 to 5 to stop the shuttle. Most of them were harmonious spirit realm demons. Occasionally, there were Gold Core Realm demons. Every time they encountered a peak Gold Core Realm demon, the cultivators on the shuttle would feel nervous. However, what made them nervous was that before the fierce demons could even get close to the Jin Shuo, there would be an ink-colored sword sense in the sky, like a thick ink, and the demons below the early stage of Jindan realm would die in batches almost immediately. The demons that came after them were crushed into powder by Ning Fan's fist. The burning blood pill was being refined in his body. His killing intent was being released. The colossal bone's secret art was advancing to the third realm. His battle merits were increasing rapidly like raindrops. The 21 Gold Core Realm cultivators were at least late Gold Core Realm. Many of them had followed other nascent Soul Realm cultivators to hunt down demon waves. However, none of them could kill a small demon with just a sword sense like Ning Fan. Sword sense? What a powerful ability! It was a pity that old ancestor Zhou Ming was born in the Rain World. If he was in the Sword World, he would surely be valued by those Void Fragmentation Realm cultivators and be accepted as a disciple. After 10,000 years, he would surely become another Void Fragmentation Realm Sword Emperor. With Ning Fan taking care of everything, these Gold Core Realm cultivators were more than happy to not risk their lives. They only attacked occasionally to kill the small demons that slipped through the net. Safety was their top priority. His sword sense had a great effect on the consumption of his spirit power. However, Ning Fan had a lot of recovery pills. Once his spirit power was depleted, it would be replenished immediately. In 3 days he traveled a total of 100,000 li. He had killed more than 1,000 demons and gained 250,000 battle merits. When he was killing the demons, a peak Gold Core Realm old demon condensed a Dao fruit and was kept by him. In this way, there were 2 Dao fruits in his storage pouch. This would be the method to rapidly increase his cultivation after breaking through to the Gold Core Realm. Yun Ruwei and Jie Xiu were in charge of arranging the formations of the Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivators and assigning tasks to the Gold Core Realm cultivators. Ning Fan was only responsible for eliminating the demons that blocked his way. 3 days later, he was already close to the peak. 1,000 miles away, there was a mountain that was tens of thousands of zhang tall. It was like a blade that pierced the heavens, extremely steep and extraordinary. At the top of it, there was an enormous demon city that was covered in black energy. The entire sky was covered by haze. When the Jin shuttle approached, a black wave of demons immediately rushed out from the city. There were tens of thousands of them. A murderous and bloody Yao energy spread. Even the Jindan of the battalion changed expression. Who would have thought? Dianyao City actually enlightened so many monsters. Fortunately, these tens of thousands of demons were mostly vein-opening realm birds. There were less than 1,000 harmonious spirit demons and less than 100 gold core demons. Even so, the number of demons here far exceeded the cultivators on the shuttle. 4 streaks of light flew out from the demon city and stood in the air. All 4 of them were nascent soul realm old demons. The 3 early-stage nascent soul cultivators had yet to stabilize their realms, as if they had been forcibly raised to the nascent soul realm. As for the middle-stage core formation cultivator, he was a lion-haired old man. His appearance was ordinary. However, his eyes were filled with bloodlust. Furthermore, there was a crimson symbol on his forehead. "Ha! Arrogant humans! How dare you invade the hinterland of my demon race with such a small number of people?" As soon as he gave the order, tens of thousands of demons immediately stood on top of the demonic clouds and swept towards them from 1,000 li away. The demonic clouds were too fast. In less than 10 breaths, they would collide with the shuttle. On the Jin shuttle, Jie Xiu and Yun Ruowei's expressions were solemn. I didn't expect them to have 4 nascent soul realm cultivators. However, from what I can see, 3 of them were awakened by a secret technique. Their strength should be weaker than me. However, the middle stage core formation cultivator is a genuine old demon. He might even be the companion of the demon general. There's no other way. Leave the lion-haired old demon to me. As for the other 3, you and fellow Taoist Zhou Ming will deal with them. Abandon the shuttle and attack. Under Yun Ruowei's command, 21 late gold core formation cultivators and 257 harmonious spirit realm cultivators flew up from the shuttle and formed a formation to face the demon tide. As for Yunrui, she took the lead and teleported towards the lion-haired old demon. The lion-haired old demon seemed to have realized that Yunrui was the leader of the human cultivators. He immediately soared into the sky and prepared to fight. Ning Fan's eyes were indifferent. There was no fear, only disappointment. This lion-haired old demon was undoubtedly the companion of the demon general. However, he wasn't a female demon. As such, he couldn't keep him as a cauldron. Not all of the 12 demon companions were female. The plan to keep all 12 demons was cancelled. As such, the only way was to kill. Wind and lightning moved around Ning Fan. 3 zhang silver wings grew on his back. With a flap of the wings, Ning Fan turned into a ray of silver light and dashed towards the demonic clouds. His speed was only at the early nascent soul realm. However, his momentum made the lion-haired old demon's heart tremble. Exterminate! At this moment, Ning Fan was like a fiend god. With a flap of his wings, he entered an unstoppable realm. With a sweep of his sword sense, a black light shredded the demonic clouds into countless pieces. Immediately, hundreds of vein opening and harmonious spirit realm demons were minced into pieces, wailing as they died. Not enough. Not enough. Not enough. The burning blood pills were being refined one by one. The pain of blood burning spread throughout his body. His killing intent was rising. After dozens of breaths, the 2 armies finally flew 1,000 li away and engaged each other in close combat. However, the tens of thousands of demon soldiers were killed by Ning Fan with dozens of sweeps of his sword sense. Each and every demon that met Ning Fan's gaze was filled with fear. Under the effect of the burning blood pills, his colossal bone secret art had broken through to the 4th realm of the 3rd level. Yunrui was in a stalemate with the lion-haired old demon. She was secretly shocked by Ning Fan's powerful sword sense. Meanwhile, the lion-haired old demon's expression was as gloomy as water. Python King. Martin King. The 2 of you stop this man. Don't let him kill more small demons. Elephant King, go and eliminate that blind human. As soon as the lion-haired old demon gave the order, a 20 zhang tall fat man blocked Jie Xiu's path. A white-robed scholar and a yellow-robed skinny man attacked Ning Fan together. As the demon tide clashed with the human army, countless demons and cultivators fell from the sky and died. All of these turned into indifference in Ning Fan's eyes. His blood was burning under the medicinal power. His eyes were like sharp swords, sweeping across the white-robed scholar and the yellow-robed skinny man. The 2 demons' expressions changed drastically. His eyes were so sharp. Brother Huang, let's attack quickly. Don't show any mercy. This man is powerful. Got it. Demonic art, yellow wind. Demonic art, scaled snake. The 2 demons formed hand seals and turned into demons. They didn't have long to live. No matter how terrifying Ning Fan was, the 2 demons swore to fight to the death. These 2 demonic arts had just reached the nascent realm. However, the 2 demons' hand seals were obviously stiff and far from being proficient. This demonic art is not enough. Ning Fan's sword sense swept across. Whether it was the yellow wind or the thousands of silver snakes formed by the demonic art, they were all crushed by the black sword sense. As for Ning Fan, he patted his storage pouch and took out the black corpse. Black armor, kill by... kill the yellow-robed skinny man. As soon as he finished speaking, he stepped on the ground and flapped his wings. Like a sword light, he shot towards the yellow-robed skinny man. Initially, the white-robed and yellow-robed demons worked together to deal with Ning Fan. They thought that they had the advantage in numbers, so they weren't afraid of Ning Fan. However, they never expected that Ning Fan had a nascent soul realm black-armored refined corpse. The refined corpse threw out punches without defending itself against the white-robed scholar's demonic art. It allowed the demonic art to land on its body. Each punch carried endless corpse chi. Even if the white-robed man tried his best to evade, he was still affected by the corpse chi. His demonic force became more and more sluggish. As for the yellow-robed skinny man, he was even more horrified. Under his disbelieving gaze, Ning Fan shouted coldly and turned into a 36 zhang tall giant. The third level of the colossal bone's secret art. Without a small realm, the giant's body grew to 12 zhang tall. In front of the 36 zhang tall giant, the yellow-robed skinny man was only the size of the giant's thumb. The moment Ning Fan's body turned into a giant, the yellow-robed skinny man felt a sense of impending death. Ice break. As the fist was thrown, the ice broke and thousands of zhang froze. The heaven and earth around the yellow-robed skinny man shook violently. His treasure armor was shattered by the punch, and he spurted out a mouthful of blood. He was already severely injured. He knew that he would die if he tried to escape, but he would still die if he didn't. The yellow-robed skinny man made up his mind. The yellow wind demonic art swirled around his body and turned into 3 demonic shadows. Each of them held a yellow sand spear and rushed towards the giant's eye, trying to blind it. 2 of the 3 demonic shadows were illusory and 1 real. This technique was the most common minor demonic technique among the demonic arts, the shadow-splitting technique. The purpose of separating the shadows was to confuse the enemy. However, this confusion turned into a trace of mockery in the eyes of the giant. With a sweep of his sword sense, the 2 illusory shadows could not withstand the sword sense and exploded into nothingness. As for the yellow-robed skinny man, he felt a sweetness in his throat and spurted out a mouthful of blood. How could this be? Before the yellow-robed skinny man could finish his last sentence, the giant slammed his palm and crushed the yellow-robed nascent soul to death like a bird. Then, it swallowed the flesh and blood of the yellow-robed skinny man in one gulp. When the yellow-robed skinny man died, a small yellow sable's nascent soul immediately stirred up a gust of demonic wind and escaped with a speed comparable to a mid-nascent soul cultivator. When a cultivator died, their soul could enter the nascent soul as long as their nascent soul was not destroyed. They could then use the nascent soul as their body to escape. Moreover, the teleportation speed of the nascent soul was usually faster than the cultivator's true body by a small realm. Unfortunately, the nascent soul and demon nascent soul were extremely fragile. Unless they could find another body to reincarnate, even ordinary core realm magical techniques would be able to injure these nascent souls. Seeing the nascent soul escaping, Ning Fan did not chase after it. He couldn't catch up to it, but there was no need to chase after it. A lightning star flashed on the glabella of the giant. Immediately, thunder rumbled continuously within 100 li radius. The nascent soul escaped 100 li in an instant. Before it could relax, it suddenly felt like it was being locked by lightning. A bolt of lightning struck down from above its head. The lightning struck fear into the nascent soul's face. It teleported again and escaped 100 li away. However, its teleportation seemed to have teleported along with the lightning. No matter how far it escaped, the lightning would always hover above its head. This scene was similar to the lightning tribulation of a gold core realm demon. It was locked and unable to escape. After teleporting for a few thousand li, the nascent soul's magical power finally became unstable. It couldn't escape anymore and was struck down by a bolt of lightning. It died instantly. In less than 10 breaths, Ning Fan had already killed a nascent soul. The giant let out a loud roar. His voice was mixed with thunder. The lightning that struck 100 li radius made the demons tremble in fear. The demon race feared the lightning tribulation. This was the reason why King Jin was willing to keep Ning Fan in Jin country, because of the divine star of lightning. The lion-haired man, the dark-skinned man and the white-robed man were shocked. Especially the white-robed man. After the death of the yellow-robed skinny man, he naturally became the giant's second target. No, not good. The thought of him, a dignified nascent soul realm demon king, being pinched to death by the giant like a sparrow made his heart tremble. Even if he escaped, he would still die. However, it was better than being pinched to death and eaten by the giant. I don't want to die in the giant's mouth and be chewed to pieces. I don't want to. He used a demonic technique to shake off the black corpse and teleport it away. However, the primordial force of heaven and earth was dispersed by the giant's palm, causing his teleportation to fail. Ice shatter. White Robe's snake bones were shattered. The giant's punch had shattered his nascent soul. 90% of his demonic power was dispersed and he couldn't even teleport anymore. His white snake body fled in a hurry. However, the giant took a step forward and caught up to him, slamming his palm down. Puff! The white snake spurted out blood. Its white scales peeled off in the air. It was pinched by the giant like an earthworm. The giant sneered and chewed the snake's corpse, causing blood to drip down. Next, the giant's gaze fell upon the dark man who was fighting with Jie. The dark man's face was filled with fear. Like the white snake in the yellow sable, he was a nascent soul realm cultivator. Although he had the magical power of a nascent soul realm cultivator, his combat strength was still slightly lower than a real nascent soul realm cultivator. He was already riddled with scars from Jie's attack. How could he withstand the combined attacks of the giant, the black corpse, and Jie? Escape. I must escape. Even if I have to fight again, I must escape to another demon city and plan again. He fled in fear. Due to his carelessness, Jie's killing intent moved and hit his head with a 3-chi jade ruler. His brain splattered and he died. His nascent soul wanted to escape, but Jie crushed it with another ruler. The situation was reversed. The last nascent soul realm cultivator was the lion hair who was fighting with Yunruo. His face was filled with shock. He didn't know that he had misjudged them. The strongest among them wasn't Yunruo but Ning Fan. Damn it. I spent a lot of effort to enlighten 3 nascent soul realm demon kings, but they were all killed by you. All of you must die. I'll let you have a taste of the power of a demon general. The lion hair pushed Yunruo away with a palm strike. His face revealed a crazy smile and his finger touched the blood-red rune on his glabella. A blood-colored tyrannical aura immediately spread out, causing Yunruo and Jie to be shocked. Not good. This is the attack of a demon general. Quickly teleport away. Just as the two of them were about to use their own techniques to block this attack, they did not expect that Ning Fan would step on the sky with his giant body. With rumbling footsteps, he fearlessly walked towards the lion-haired man. Facing the blood-red light, he waved his hand and took out a blood-red jade slip. At the same time, the shadows of 2 bloody giant carps collided in the sky. The demonic force shook the thousands of demons and tens of harmonious spirit cultivators to death. Ning Fan also had the attack of a demon general. The 2 bloody lights gradually melted after a loud bang. There was no trace left in the sky except for a faint blood mist. The smile on the lion hair's face froze and turned into a look of shock. No. Impossible. This is the trump card that the demon general gave to his companion. How did you get it? I know it now. You killed the demon general's companion and took it. You're dead. Human, you're dead. I don't know whether I'll die or not. But you will die today and the items in your storage pouch will belong to me. Sword finger, mountain shattering. The giant sneered and pointed his right finger downwards. That finger was even larger than the lion-haired demonic body. Instantly, all of the mountains in the 500-kilometer area began to tremble and collapse. Every time a mountain was destroyed, the sword light on the finger became sharper. The power of the finger was comparable to a mid-nascent soul realm cultivator's ultimate attack. The giant's finger pressed down fiercely in the midst of the mountain collapsing and the earth cracking. It was a finger that was as heavy as the earth and as sharp as the sword chi. If it was in the past, the lion hair would have been able to withstand the finger. But after fighting with Yunruo for a long time and activating the demon general's attack, his demonic strength had been greatly reduced. It was extremely difficult for him to withstand the attack. Moreover, the finger gave the lion hair an oppressive feeling of 1,000 mountains, making him unable to teleport or evade. The only thing he could do was to withstand the attack. I'll fight you to the death. He gathered the remaining demonic strength in his palm and turned it into a 10-zhang tall golden ball. He then blasted it towards the giant's finger. Every time the golden ball exploded, the sky would tremble violently. The giant felt a great pain in his chest, but he did not retreat. The The giant wanted to kill the lion hair with his finger even if he was injured. The golden ball was shattered. The 1,000 mountains shook and the lion hair spat out a mouthful of blood and fell from the sky. The giant grabbed the lion hair with a ruthless expression and threw him into his mouth while the lion hair was still terrified. Then, Ning Fan retreated from the giant's avatar and kept it in his cauldron ring without looking at the lion hair's storage pouch. He then consumed a pill to suppress his injuries and began to chase after the small demons. Fellow Taoist Yun, fellow Taoist Jie, quickly helped the juniors eliminate the demons and reduce the casualties. All right. Jie Xiu's admiration for Ning Fan had reached its peak. The timing of the spirit-severing realm attack and the terrifying sharpness of the giant's finger had shocked him greatly. This young man could kill a mid-nascent soul realm expert. He was more than qualified to be the 7th commander. As for Yun Ruwei, her heart trembled again and again. Even though she knew that he was a half-step gold core realm expert who was comparable to a nascent soul realm expert and a 4th revolution pill refinement realm expert, she still couldn't believe that the 4 nascent soul realm experts were all killed by him alone. This kind of crazy massacre made Yun Ruwei feel a trace of fear. As for the devil in her heart, it was even deeper. It was so deep that she had no choice but to have a long talk with Ning Fan. However, what she couldn't understand was why Ning Fan would sacrifice his spirit-severing realm attack to kill the lion hair with his instantaneous movement to avoid the spirit-severing realm attack. She couldn't understand why Ning Fan would sacrifice his spirit-severing realm attack to kill the lion hair without saying anything. He might be able to retreat by combining the strength of the other 2 nascent soul realm experts and block the spirit-severing realm attack together. However, if he did that, he would probably let the lion hair escape. Even if he had to use up one of his trump cards, he had to keep the lion hair's life. The reason was naturally the storage pouch. He did not see what was inside the pouch, but there was a trace of immemorial star's chi in the pouch which caused the yin-yang locket and the separation slayer sword to tremble. There's no mistaking it. The immemorial star. Moreover, there seemed to be quite a number of them. This item was far more precious than a spirit-severing realm attack. It was not worth it to let the lion hair escape and miss this item. After obtaining the storage pouch, even though he did not look at the items inside, he could vaguely feel that there was something inside that made his demon blood boil. It seemed to be a supreme treasure that could increase his demon power. He did not tell anyone that these were his spoils of war. Not even the Rain Palace could take them away. As for the remaining small demons, they would all turn into battle merits and be stored in his merit jade. A few hours later, the battle ended. Other than the ruins that were destroyed by Ning Fan's mountain-shattering finger, there were only countless demon corpses and occasionally human corpses. The battle merits in the merit jade had already exceeded 700,000. 70% of the battle merits of the small demons and 3 nascent soul realm experts were taken by Ning Fan alone. Each of the Gold Core Realm and Harmonious Spirit Realm experts who survived were filled with joy. Even Jie Xiu felt happy for the victory. However, Yun Ruwei had mixed feelings. As a demon, she had to slay demons. Although she did not say it out loud, her heart was filled with helplessness. As for Ning Fan, he stood among the countless corpses in silence. Have a safe journey. As soon as he finished speaking, he got on the Jean shuttle. His words made Yun Ruwei's eyes flash. She thought to herself, Ning Fan, who is the most ruthless when he kills, would also feel sentimental after killing? There was enmity between them when they were alive. But after death, this enmity would be resolved once and for all. What an open-minded person. Chapter 178. 3 days came and 4 days passed. Today was the 7th day. On the 7th day, Ju's Sand Pass was bustling with activity. The golden shuttles returned one after another. The cultivators guarding the pass were busy recording the battle merits of the cultivators of the War Division. Inside the pass, many of the cultivators of the War Division who returned were exchanging their battle merits for immortal jade, pills, and magical treasures to improve their strength. On the city gate tower, a lady in plain clothes looked at the sky with slight worry. The wind carried the smell of blood that could not be erased. That person's golden shuttles had yet to return. Don't worry, Suqiu Xianzi. Fellow Taoist Zhou Ming's means he will definitely be fine. Jing Zhuo comforted her. I know he's strong. However, I heard that among the golden shuttles that returned to Ju San Pass, 7 of them won the battle. 3 of them did not complete the mission of destroying the demon city. Not only that, 3 nascent soul realm cultivators even lost their physical bodies due to severe injuries. Only their nascent soul realm cultivators managed to escape. Will he be safe? The lady in plain clothes bit her lips and sighed. Why does he like to show off so much? Why? He asked me to defend the city, but he chose to go to a dangerous place instead. The worry in her eyes could not be dispelled no matter how Jing Zhuo comforted her. She heaved a sigh of relief only when a row of golden shuttles returned from the sky. At the bow of the shuttle, a young man in white robes and black cloak stood with his hands clasped behind his back. Even though his face was pale, he wore his usual smile. With his personality, he must have obtained countless battle merits just like what he did in the Sinister Sparrow sect in the past. Suqiu's eyes flashed. She descended the city gate tower and walked towards the pass. She wanted to welcome Ning Fan's triumphant return. He won the battle. His battle merits were enough to leave. After destroying the demon city, Revered Snow would probably lead the group of nascent soul realm cultivators into the Dragon Dream Swamp for the final battle. However, Ning Fan did not plan to participate in that battle. There were a few reasons. Firstly, he already had enough battle merits. There was no need for him to take unnecessary risks. Furthermore, the date of the final battle was set to be a month later, and the opening of the primordial teleportation formation this year was also a month and a few days later. If he were to participate in the battle, he would not be able to make it in time for the primordial teleportation formation. Secondly, there was a spirit-severing realm demon general in the Dragon Dream Swamp. He captured 2 of his female companions and killed one of his male companions. Capturing the female demon was fine, but killing the male demon. After killing the lion-haired male demon, Ning Fan discovered that the blood qi of the lion-haired male demon was still lingering on his body for several days. If this qi became the reason why the spirit-severing realm demon general wanted to deal with him, it would be bad. There was absolutely no need for him to purposely come to the Dragon Dream Swamp to be slaughtered by the demon general. The third reason was that there were some things in the lion-haired demon's storage pouch that caught his attention. The last reason was that Ning Fan himself needed time to recuperate from his injuries and his demon blood. On the way back, Ning Fan sent his spirit sense into the cauldron ring several times to check the storage pouch. The result shocked him. There was a piece of immemorial star iron the size of a cherry in the storage pouch of the lion-haired demon. A piece of iron the size of a cherry might not seem like much, but one should know that even the yin-yang locket only had this much. After all, the yin-yang locket itself was not that big. As for the Separation Slayer sword, there were only traces of fragments of the immemorial stars in it. If it was mixed with this whole piece of star iron, not only would its quality be improved, but in terms of toughness alone, the Separation Slayer sword might not even break when facing a void fragmentation realm technique. Elementary high-grade flying sword, the Separation Slayer sword. This sword's body was extremely thin. Ning Fan might not even be able to finish using this piece of star iron. If there was any left over, Ning Fan could forge a second immemorial divine weapon. However, this star iron was not small, but it was heavily corroded by the demonic qi. Ning Fan did not know that this piece of iron was given to the lion-haired demon by the demon general. The lion-haired demon was ordered to contaminate this item with demonic qi. After the demon general transformed into a dragon, he would use this iron to forge an immemorial divine weapon. Immemorial divine weapons could be used by gods and devils. If it was a demon with immemorial demon vein, it could also be used. Unfortunately, if the demon general knew that this iron had fallen into Ning Fan's hands, he would be furious. This piece of iron had been corroded by demonic qi. It would take a lot of effort to erase it, and the sooner the better. Therefore, before erasing the demonic qi of the star iron, he did not have the leisure to care about the battle with Long Mengzi. As for his own body, 3 layers of demon blood were gathered and boiling within his body. After transforming into a giant, He killed 3 nascent soul realm demons in a row and ate their corpses. The process was indeed disgusting, but devouring flesh and blood was one of the techniques recorded in the Camellia scripture to increase demonic power. There were 2 ways to cultivate in the demon race. One was to cultivate the cultivation method to absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth and the essence of the sun and moon to transform it into demonic power. The other was to devour flesh and blood of living beings to increase the demonic power of the demon blood. That was why when Ning Fan transformed into a giant, he not only killed the lion-haired demon but also devoured the flesh and blood of the 3 demons. The flesh and blood of the 3 demons were refined by Ning Fan's demonic technique and turned into 3 drops of blood essence. The pale green blood was left by the white snake, the pale yellow blood was left by the yellow sable, and the pale golden blood was left by the mid-nascent soul realm lion-haired demon. The pale green blood and the yellow blood contained a thin amount of demon blood. After all, they were nascent soul realm demons that were awakened using a secret technique. Even so, the demonic power contained in a drop of blood was hundreds of times more than Ning Fan's blood. The demonic power contained in the golden blood was 10 times more than the total amount of the 2 demons' blood essence. At this moment, the feather demon blood in Ning Fan's body was slowly absorbing the power of the 3 drops of blood essence. His demonic power was slowly increasing, and what surprised him was that the quality of his feather demon veins was also slowly increasing. A thin bloodline gradually increasing in quality. This kind of thing was considered unimaginable even in the ancient demon race. However, this was really happening in Ning Fan's body. As for the reason, it was naturally because of the wonders of the yin-yang locket. It could allow Ning Fan to open the divine, demon and devil veins in his human body and increase the quality of his bloodline. What was so strange about it? The yin-yang locket could absorb everything for its own use. The demon blood of others could also increase one's strength. Putting aside his magical power, Ning Fan's demonic power was only at the early harmonious spirit realm. However, if he refined the 3 drops of blood essence, his demonic power could reach the late harmonious spirit realm or even the peak. In the storage pouch, other than the immemorial star iron, there were some spiritual herbs and magical treasures that belonged to the lion-haired demon. The magical treasures were unsightly. All of them were stolen from human cultivators. However, those spiritual herbs were of good quality and he also seized some spirit-refining grass. Apart from that, there was also a jade bottle that was carefully sealed in the storage pouch. The jade bottle revealed a trace of demonic power. Just a sniff of it made Ning Fan's demonic blood boil. The chi was very similar to the 3 drops of blood essence in Ning Fan's body, but the density of the magical power was like heaven and earth. Could it be that there is a drop of great demon's blood essence sealed in it? Ning Fan had a premonition that if he could consume this drop of blood essence, his demonic power would definitely reach the gold core realm or even higher. However, he dared not to consume it recklessly. There was a limit to the increase of demonic power using the blood-devouring technique. He mustn't consume the blood of living beings that were too strong. He needed to be careful when refining the blood essence of a nascent soul realm demon with his meager demonic blood. However, the blood sealed in this jade bottle was a little terrifying. Ning Fan couldn't tell the specific grade, but he was afraid that if he consumed it, there was a high chance that his body would explode and he would die. I'll consume this in the future. That was his decision. As for his decision to not participate in the battle at Longmengza Lake, it was even deeper. The Gene shuttle landed in the center of the mountain. Immediately, there were cultivators who came forward to greet them. Ning Fan merely nodded as a greeting. He followed Jie Xiao and Yun Rui straight to the place where the battle merits were registered. There was a huge jade tablet that was glowing with light. Below it, many cultivators who had just returned from killing the demons were handing over their battle merits to the jade tablet and recording their battle merits on it. An old cultivator was respectfully looking after the jade tablet, exchanging immortal jade, pills, cultivation methods and magical treasures for the cultivators who needed to exchange their battle merits. He didn't go forward to register his battle merits immediately because he saw a figure waiting for him in the crowd. Zhou Ming. It's Suqiu. Are you waiting for me here? Yes. The two of them were acting as Dao companions now. It was fine for them to address each other intimately. However, Suchio's gaze shifted away from Ning Fan and fell on Yunrui. Her heart immediately tightened, but her gaze moved away without leaving a trace. As for Yunrui, she also noticed Suchio. She thought to herself that this woman was most likely Ning Fan's Dao companion. Her aptitude was exceptional and her appearance was not inferior to mine. It was truly rare for a female cultivator to have such an outstanding aptitude. If it wasn't for the fortuitous encounter she had, she would most likely only have this much cultivation realm after all these years. She knew Jieshio and also knew that Yunrui was a nascent soul realm cultivator of the Rain Palace. Suchio greets the two seniors. Suchio's gaze lingered on Yunrui for a longer time. There was a trace of nervousness that even she herself didn't notice. This is... Yunrui was secretly surprised. Although the woman in front of her was only at the peak of the gold core realm, her profound technique and solid foundation made it obvious that her Dao heart was firm. It wasn't easy for a woman to have such a temperament. Hehe, this is fellow Daoist Zhou's Dao companion. The two of them must have something to talk about. We'll take our leave first. Jieshio introduced. So she's fellow Daoist Zhou's Dao companion. Yunrui's heart was filled with an indescribable feeling of discomfort. It's all because of the heart devil. I don't like Ning Fan, but because of the heart devil, my heart devil actually trembled when I heard about Ning Fan's Dao companion. Since she's fellow Daoist Zhou's Dao companion, there's no need to call me senior. You can just call me sister. Then, Suchio shall be bold and call you sister. Sister Suchio's profound technique has a deep foundation. No matter how deep her foundation is, she's only at the gold core realm. How can she be as powerful as sister's nascent soul realm? Ning Fan, who was at the side, revealed a strange expression. He didn't know why the conversation between the two women gave him a feeling that they were opposing each other. However, when he thought about it, Suchio was merely pretending to be his Dao companion while Yunrui only had complaints about him. The possibility of them opposing each other for his sake should be very small. While the two women were chatting, the registration of battle merits was in full swing under the jade steel. The battle merits recording officer was an old cultivator. Every time someone recorded their battle merits, he would read out the battle merits. Wang Wei, late gold core realm, obtained a total of 7,152 battle merits. Yu Ming, peak gold core realm, obtained a total of 8,503 battle merits. Lu Feng, late gold core realm, obtained a total of 5,589 battle merits. Hu Yen. When the name Hu Yen was mentioned, the old man's expression immediately turned solemn and he let out a dry cough. This was because Hu Yen was the sixth commander of the Jin Guards, an existence of mid-nascent soul realm. Sixth commander of the Jin Guards, senior Hu Yen, obtained a total of 96,492 battle merits. His study. As soon as the old man said that, countless cultivators in Guanzhong inhaled a breath of cold air. As expected of a mid-nascent soul realm expert, he was able to obtain so many battle merits in just one battle. It was equivalent to 100,000 immortal jade. Amidst the uproar, there was a discordant sneer. A mid-nascent soul realm expert of Jin is satisfied with 100,000 battle merits? Please record this Yun's battle achievements. Yes, yes. A young man in a silver robe sneered. His eyes were filled with madness. It was Yun Kuang. It looked like the craziness that was crushed had been reformed in this battle. Hu Yan's eyes darkened when he was mocked by Yun Kuang. Everyone knew that the cultivators of the Rain Palace and the Jin Guards were not on good terms. However, it was rare for someone to mock them like Yun Kuang. However, compared to Jin, the Rain Palace was a colossus. Yun Kuang was not someone Hu Yan could afford to offend. Hu Yan's heart trembled when he heard Yun Kuang's battle merits. The old man's words were like a sharp sword that pierced Hu Yan's heart. Rain Palace's divine envoy Yun Kuang obtained a total of 235,891 battle merits, of which 100,000 was obtained from killing a nascent soul realm demon. As soon as the announcement was made, the entire place became silent. Only the sound of inhaling could be heard. 230,000 battle merits. Even the great commander of the Gene Guards would not be able to obtain so many battle merits. Moreover, 100,000 battle merits were obtained from killing nascent soul realm demons. Every nascent soul realm demon possessed remarkable abilities. Moreover, they had formed a nascent soul within their body and were extremely difficult to kill. Hu Yen had defeated 2 nascent soul realm demons by himself, but he could not kill one of them. Unexpectedly, Yun Kuang killed a nascent soul realm demon. It seemed like even if he lost the shadow-bearing sword and could no longer carry out sneak attacks, his strength should not be underestimated. Among the crowd, a black-faced burly man had a gloomy expression. He was the great commander of the Gene Guards, Luan Ji. When he saw Hu Yen being humiliated, he initially wanted to stand up for him. After all, Hu Yen represented the Gene Guards. However, after hearing about Yun Kuang's battle merits, he became silent. The battle merits he obtained in this battle was only 190,000 battle merits. It was incomparable to Yun Kuang's. His silence made some people sigh inwardly. Yun Kuang, on the other hand, glanced at Luan Ji and became even more complacent. Commander Luan Ji is not speaking. It seems like your battle merits are not as good as mine. Record the merits. Just erase this Yun's battle merits, and only record 230,000 will do. He sneered. Suddenly, his eyes turned and pierced through the crowd, landing on a person. Zhou Ming, your battle merits might be more than mine. If not, then get lost from Suqiu Xianzi's side. Yun Kuang's voice gathered everyone's attention on Ning Fan. Originally, Ning Fan was helplessly listening to the 2 ladies chatting. However, when Yun Kuang's voice resounded, his eyes turned cold and he walked out of the crowd. Everyone thought that Yun Kuang's provocation would lead to a battle, but in the end, Ning Fan just smiled and casually glanced at Yun Kuang. Then, he handed the black jade to the record officer. Divine Messenger Yun Kuang, you have too many battle merits. You don't want a fraction. I can't compete with you. I'm too poor. Every bit of money must be properly recorded on the jade tablet. Every fraction is equivalent to an immortal jade. Yes. The fear that the record officer had towards Ning Fan was even greater than Yun Kuang. When his eyes fell on Ning Fan's jade, his hands trembled. He could not hold the jade properly and it fell on the table. Loss of self-control, too much loss of self-control. This lowly one deserves to die. This lowly one deserves to die. He hurriedly picked up the jade and apologized to Ning Fan. However, Ning Fan waved his hand and said indifferently, "It's all right. It's just a small matter. Record it down." The 7th commander of the Jin Imperial Guard, Zhou Ming, obtained a total of 648,153 battle merits in this battle. What? There's more than 640,000 battle merits. Many cultivators exclaimed. How was it possible to obtain such a huge amount of battle merits in just one battle? Not only that, 300,000 of the battle merits were obtained from killing 3 nascent soul realm experts. The record officer's voice trembled as he added, Three nascent soul realm experts. The expressions of the cultivators in Guanzhong changed drastically. It was difficult to defeat a nascent soul realm expert, let alone kill one. However, Ning Fan actually killed 3 nascent soul realm experts in just one battle. Not only that, one of them was a mid-nascent soul realm old demon. What? Mid-nascent soul realm? Doesn't this mean that old ancestor Zhou Ming has the ability to kill cultivators of the same realm? Killing cultivators of the same realm. It was impossible for a nascent soul realm expert to do so. It was possible to defeat them, but even if their physical bodies were destroyed, the enemy's nascent soul realm could still escape. The speed of a nascent soul realm expert's escape was a small realm higher than their cultivation realm. It was impossible for cultivators of the same realm to kill the enemy's nascent soul realm. However, Zhou Ming could. After the battle merits were recorded, Ning Fan kept the jade and his eyes fell on Yun Kuang with a smile. Yun Kuang, are you satisfied with my battle merits? Are you satisfied? These 4 words were like a sudden clap of thunder that exploded in Yun Kuang's heart when Ning Fan secretly circulated the power of the lightning star. Yun Kuang's face turned pale and he took a few steps back. The madness in his Dao heart was crushed by Ning Fan when he seized the sword. It wasn't easy for him to rebuild a trace of madness in this battle by killing nascent soul realm experts. The reason why he humiliated Hu Yen was because he wanted to use this method to stabilize his madness intent. If he could defeat Ning Fan with his battle merits, he could even use this opportunity to erase the mark of failure that Ning Fan had planted in his Dao heart. However, he never thought that Ning Fan's battle merits would be far beyond his expectation. 640,000. He couldn't do it. There were even 3 nascent soul realm old demons among them. Among them, one of them was a mid-nascent soul realm demon companion. Impossible. The madness in his Dao heart that had just been rebuilt and had yet to be stabilized crumbled at this moment. He only had 230,000 battle merits. Showing it off in front of Ning Fan was simply asking to be humiliated. When Ning Fan's gaze swept across him, Yun Kuang's expression changed drastically and he quickly retreated. Ning Fan merely lifted a finger and pointed it at him. However, Yun Kuang had a feeling that if this finger were to press down on him, he would only be severely injured even if he used all of his techniques. Are you satisfied? Those 4 words were like a bolt of lightning that wreaked havoc in Yun Kuang's body. In the end, Yun Kuang took a few steps back and stabilized his body. However, he coughed out a mouthful of blood. This was the first time he realized that he must never provoke Ning Fan. Absolutely not. This man has the strength to kill a mid-nascent soul realm expert. That finger of his is enough to kill me. I'm sorry for my rudeness. Farewell. Without any hesitation, he teleported away. He even forgot to keep the jade that was still in the officer's hand. His mind was in a mess. This was the second time he escaped from Ning Fan. From now on, he might not have the courage to find trouble with Ning Fan for the rest of his life. You're fast. Ning Fan smiled and put down his finger. He no longer looked at Yun Kuang. This man's Dao heart had already been destroyed. Even if he could break through to late nascent soul realm or even peak nascent soul realm, he would never be able to attain spirit severing realm. There was no doubt that Ning Fan would be the heart devil when he attains spirit severing realm. The heart devil that Ning Fan couldn't resist would probably torment Yun Kuang for the rest of his life. This scene caused countless cultivators inside the pass to be astonished. Old ancestor Zhou Ming could not only kill a mid-nascent soul realm expert, but also scare off a mid-nascent soul realm expert with just 4 words. This man is unfathomable. Fellow Taoist Zhou, are you really not going to participate in the Battle of the Dragon Dream Swamp? Jie Xiu sighed. On the way back, Ning Fan had already told him that he would not participate in the battle. Sigh. I'm still injured. Even if I want to help, I'm afraid I'm unable to. Does that so? Then, it's really a pity. Jie Xiu sighed again and again. Ning Fan's strength was probably stronger than the commander. If he could participate in the battle, Jin's chances of winning would be much higher. Chapter 179. I actually lost. This Zhou Ming is really powerful. My intuition was right. Zhou Ming was injured and could not participate in the final battle. This matter made countless cultivators like Jie Xiu feel that it was a pity. Sigh, if old ancestor Zhou Ming wasn't injured, he would definitely shine in the final battle. Suqiu was worried about Ning Fan for a while. What kind of injury made him unable to participate in the battle? She went to the Bright Jade Tower every few days. After confirming that Ning Fan was fine, she finally felt relieved. Ning Fan recuperated in the Bright Jade Tower while she quietly guarded the city. Even though she had enough battle points, it was always good for her to earn more battle points and save some immortal jade for Ning Fan. The Bright Jade Tower was the property of the 6th commander Hu Yen in Jushan Pass. However, it was given to Ning Fan to treat his injuries. The reason was naturally because Ning Fan had forced Yun Kuang to retreat and helped him vent his anger. It would be foolish not to accept such a gift. Ning Fan gladly accepted the Bright Jade Tower. It was the best place to treat his injuries and remove the demonic chi of the immemorial star iron. The tower had 7 floors. It was specially used for nascent soul realm old monsters to go into seclusion. Each floor had rooms for refining weapons, pills, and so on. What Ning Fan was most satisfied with was the peak nascent soul realm formation outside the tower, sense isolation formation. Every nascent soul realm expert had their own secrets. This sense isolation formation was specially set up to prevent spirit sense from probing. Even an early spirit severing realm expert like revered Snow couldn't enter the tower without alerting the formation. On the 7th floor, Ning Fan took out the star iron and soaked it in a medicinal liquid made from a 1,000-years-old spiritual herb. It slowly melted the demonic chi. As for himself, he sat cross-legged on the 7th floor and started to refine the 3 drops of demon blood in his body. The loss of chi and blood could be recovered with the 3 drops of demon blood. His demon power realm would also improve significantly with the 3 drops of demon blood. My current demon power realm is early harmonious spirit, he muttered to himself and began to refine the first drop of demon blood, the yellow marten blood. Among the 3 demons, the marten demon was the weakest. However, its blood was extremely difficult to refine. Inside his dantian, Ning Fan forced out a trace of demon blood, trying to devour the faint yellow drop of blood. The lifeblood demonic blood was nothing more than a single strand of blood. It was far too weak, and he didn't dare to be careless. He could only peel the yellow demonic blood apart bit by bit, transforming it into nearly 10,000 strands of blood. Then, he activated the Camellia Sutra, allowing the lifeblood demonic blood to consume it. This scripture was a wood elemental demonic art, and the demonic blood cultivated would contain wood elemental demonic energy. On the first day, Ning Fan extracted a total of 3 bloodlines and devoured them. On the second day, there were 11. On the third day, there were 45. As it swallowed more, the natal demonic blood gradually grew to the size of a water droplet and was light green in color. 10 days later, Ning Fan had completely devoured the pale yellow demonic blood. His demonic power broke through to the mid-harmonious spirit realm. The second drop is the blood of the white serpent. I will be able to devour it in less than 3 days. On the 13th day, he refined the blood of the white snake and broke through to the late harmonious spirit realm. The demon blood that hadn't been devoured was only the faint gold drop. However, this drop was extremely difficult to devour. After all, this blood was transformed from the blood of the companion demon. It was a true mid-nascent soul realm demon. 1 drop of this blood was equivalent to 20 drops of the white serpent's blood essence. This refinement lasted for a total of 10 days. When the 3rd drop of demon blood was completely refined, Ning Fan's demonic power successfully broke through the peak harmonious spirit realm and reached the half-step gold core realm. Demonic power seeped into the illusory gold core, making the gold core slightly more solid. With the fusion of magic power and demonic power, his magic power was comparable to a peak early gold core realm cultivator. In terms of magic power and mid-gold core realm, he wasn't any weaker. Not bad demon blood. Demonic chi flashed in his eyes and returned to his usual expression. His eyes fell on the immemorial star iron. Seeing that the demonic chi of the iron had dissipated, he revealed a satisfied expression and kept the iron. He stood up and went down the bright jade tower. It was drizzling outside the tower. In the rain, there was a barefoot woman holding a paper umbrella. She had been waiting for a long time. This was out of Ning Fan's expectation. "Miss Yun, are you waiting here for me? And is it convenient for you to come in and talk?" Yun Ruo's eyes fell on Ning Fan. When she sensed the lingering demonic chi of the latter, she was secretly surprised. Why does this person cultivate demonic power? Isn't he the descendant of the Black Devil and has the immemorial devil vein? She couldn't figure it out. However, there were many things that Ning Fan couldn't figure out. For example, why did he have the divine star of lightning in the immemorial devil vein? When Ning Fan's eyes flashed with demonic chi, his temperament gave her an extremely familiar feeling. "What's wrong? Is there something dirty on my face?" "It's nothing. It's just that you look a little like 2 of my old friends." Yun Ruwei crossed the curtain of rain and entered the bright jade tower. Her heart trembled slightly. Is that so? There are hundreds of millions of cultivators in the world. It's normal for them to look similar. On the first floor, Ning Fan waved his sleeve and tea flew out from the teapot and fell into a cup. With a surge of his magic power, the tea became slightly warm and carried a hint of fragrance. Please have a seat. This tea is to express my apology. Thank you for your magnanimity. Magnanimity? I do want to forgive you, but what you did was too shameless. It gave birth to an inner demon in me. Do you know how troublesome this inner demon is? The two of them sat down. Yun Ruwei held the teacup and shook the silver bell on her wrist. This tea was very fragrant. It wasn't brewed with ordinary spiritual tea but 1,000-year-old medicinal leaf. Ning Fan was usually very extravagant. She breathed out a trace of fragrance and blew the tea in the cup. Just as she was about to drink it, she suddenly thought of something and stopped. She glared at Ning Fan. You didn't put aphrodisiac in this tea, did you? Am I that shameless in your eyes? Speaking of which, if I want to do anything to you, I'm afraid you won't be able to walk out of the bright jade tower safely with my current strength and plucking finger. How dare you? Yun Ruwei loosened her wrist and the teacup fell to the ground, shattering into pieces. This teacup was expensive and the tea was even more precious. She felt sorry for wasting the tea but she couldn't lower herself to apologize to Ning Fan. Annoying, extremely annoying. At this moment, just by sitting opposite Ning Fan, her inner demon became even more intense. Ning Fan shook his head helplessly and pondered over the meaning of her words. He poured another cup of tea for Yun Ruwei and at the same time, he was thinking, could it be that this woman came to find me because of her inner demon? Inner demon? Did my blasphemy leave behind an inner demon in this woman? Please drink the tea. Don't worry, there's no aphrodisiac. Then, Yun Ruwei held the teacup and took a sip. The tea entered her stomach and she immediately felt refreshed. As expected of tea brewed with 1,000-year-old spiritual herbs. Even nascent soul realm cultivators wouldn't be so extravagant. Miss Yun, are you here to ask me to help you eliminate your inner demon? That's right. But it's not a request, it's an order. This is the compensation for what you did to me that day, okay? Miss Yun, please don't be angry. It's my fault. Alright, how can I help you eliminate your inner demon? Accompany me to sleep. I'm no longer a primordial yang cultivator. It's fine to have sex with a beauty, but Miss Yun, do you really want to eliminate your inner demon at the cost of your purity? You don't have to do this. Ning Fan put down the teacup with a strange expression. Could it be that this Yun Ruwei is a beauty who sent herself to my doorstep? If it was in the past, it would be fine. But now, Ning Fan didn't dare to do anything inappropriate with a mid-nascent soul realm female demon. If he used the yin-yang locket, he would pluck her. If he didn't use it, it would be dual cultivation. This woman's cultivation base far surpassed Ning Fan's and she was still a virgin. Whether it was plucking or dual cultivation, it would greatly increase Ning Fan's magical power. He might not even need to go to the endless sea. Ning Fan would immediately have enough magical power to form his core in seclusion. Miss, please think twice. If you really want to have sex with me, you can find another day. Pooh! How can you be so shameless? Yun Ruwei's face turned red with anger. She was talking about sleeping. Why did it sound so evil and shameless when it came from Ning Fan's mouth? I'm talking about sleeping. Sleep together. I'll use the dream entering technique to bring you into my dream and eliminate the evil in your heart. I don't want to do that with you. So you're talking about sleeping. What else do you think? All right. To be able to sleep with a beauty, even if there's nothing romantic going on. Miss, do you want to go upstairs and change your clothes? Let's enter your dream in this bright jade pavilion, okay? Ning Fan stood up and smiled. He patted his storage pouch and summoned the black corpse downstairs just in case. Then he slowly went upstairs. He had no objection to helping Yun Ruwei. However, what he did to her that day was somewhat shameless. Not only did he destroy her chastity, he also left her heart's devil and hindered her cultivation. Miss Yun, what are you waiting for? Quickly go upstairs and enter your dream. I'll be leaving Great Gene in 10 days. As for you, there's still a few more days before the final battle of the Dragon Dream Swamp. There's no time to waste. Let me think about it. Yun Ruowei's heart was beating rapidly. Although they were just sleeping together without taking off their clothes or doing anything extreme, this was Yun Ruowei's first time having sex with a man. As the saying goes, 100 years of cultivation and crossing the same boat, 1,000 years of cultivation and sleeping on the same pillow. Yun Ruowei was secretly annoyed. Ever since she transformed into a plant, she had never done anything evil. Why did she have to provoke this rascal? Why do I have to sleep on the same pillow as him? I need to think about it carefully. Chapter 180. On the table, there was a purple incense burning in an incense burner. It was a kind of incense called Sinuan in Jin country. The bed was covered by a veil, making it hard to see what was inside. One could vaguely see a man and a woman lying side by side on the brocade quilt. The brocade quilt was embroidered with red luan and phoenix. On the wall, there was a painting of erotic palace. Under the veil, there was a 12 feet wide bed, emitting a faint fragrance of a woman. Yun Ruowei's heart was beating fast. Soon, Ning Fan was lying next to her shoulder. This bed was so big and there was even a painting of erotic palace on it. It was obvious that it was not used for resting but for working. She begged Ning Fan to enter her dream to slay the devil, but he actually brought her to this kind of decadent bed. Really, shameless. She couldn't calm her emotions. She gritted her teeth and said it. This bed is the original one in Mingyu Pavilion. When Commander Hu Yen gave it to me, it already had this bed. Where did the word shameless come from? I'm warning you. If you dare to do anything to me, I won't do anything to you. Alright, hurry up and enter your dream. This is my first time trying to enter a dream with a minor demonic technique. You know minor demonic techniques? Yun Ruowei's eyes were filled with surprise. She turned her body and looked at Ning Fan with a strange expression. It was rare for a human to have demon blood. He actually knew how to use demonic techniques. Does he have demon veins? Forget it. I'm just curious about it. When she turned her body, Yun Ruowei's face was almost close to Ning Fan's ear. Her soft fragrance spread to Ning Fan's ear, like a lover's teasing. She instantly realized that she had lost her composure and immediately lied down. Her heart was beating faster. Fortunately, Ning Fan was focused on the demonic finger incantation of the dream entering technique. He didn't really care about Yun Ruowei's behavior. If he really had an ulterior motive and wanted to do something to Yun Ruowei, he would have taken this opportunity to get what he wanted with just a touch of his plucking finger. Yun Ruowei secretly heaved a sigh of relief. She knew that she had misunderstood Ning Fan. It seemed that even though Ning Fan's behavior was shameless, his heart was calm and not frivolous. In just a few years, the delicate young man in the past had already become a young man with extraordinary magical power. In the past, when he faced Ning Fan, it was easy for him to deal with him. Today, however, he still had to be wary of him in every aspect. He was extremely vigilant and fearful of him. If a few more years, tens of years or even hundreds of years passed, he would probably only be able to look up to Ning Fan. However, what made her eyes light up was that Ning Fan had already started to perform the dream entering technique. 500 little Yao arts. The lowest was Ling level, the most basic of Yao arts. But the dream entering art was one of the few little Yao arts that had reached Dan level. There weren't many hand seals. There were only a dozen hand seals. Compared to the dozens of hand seals of ordinary core realm magical arts, it was much lesser. This was a little demonic art that was simplified from complexity to simplicity. There wasn't a trace of excess, but it was able to reach the core realm and was able to enter dreams. Intrusive dream, invading the dreams of others. This technique had left behind many legends in the mortal world. For example, a female demon fell in love with a scholar and slept with him in her dreams every night. Another example was King Xiong, who had a dream and met the goddess. Cultivators could not do such a thing. Only demonic arts could. Cultivators could search souls and erase memories, but demonic arts could invade other people's memories and dreams. It was Ning Fan's first time performing more than 10 hand seals. The hand seals were shaky and it was difficult for him to move his fingers. When he performed the hand seals, there was nothing blocking his fingers, but it felt as if each of his fingers was moving through the water, touching something. That thing was the power of heaven and earth. In the end, demonic arts needed to draw the power of heaven and earth. The first time he performed the hand seals was too slow and he failed. But it was enough to move Yunru away. In the past, when she practiced this technique, she couldn't complete the hand seals at all when she performed it for the first time. She only managed to complete the hand seals after more than 10 attempts. But when he performed the hand seals for the second time, he was able to draw a trace of the power of heaven and earth and transform it into demonic arts. The third time he performed the hand seals, he was almost successful, but it was interrupted by Qi. The reason was that he wanted to enter the dream with Yunru away, but he couldn't perform the hand seals alone. I have already comprehended the dream entering art. Let's enter the dream now. All right. In Yunruo's heart, she had already regarded Ning Fan as a person with monstrous aptitude. When she thought of what was going to happen next, she could not help but blush. Later, both of us will perform the hand seals at the same time. When the hand seals are completed, we will immediately hold each other's hands. Remember, you must hold my hand quickly. When Yunruo said those words, her hands were trembling slightly. When she thought that her hand was about to be held by Ning Fan, she felt a little confused. However, if we don't hold each other's hands, we won't be able to enter the dream together. Bear with it for the sake of eliminating the heart devil. She gritted her teeth as if she was going to die and said emotionally, "All right, let's begin." Both of them performed the hand seals at the same time. Their fingers hooked the heaven and earth. Little demonic art, dream entering art. When the hand seals were completed, a trace of mysterious demonic power enveloped their minds and slowly floated up as if it had left their bodies. At this moment, Yunruo gritted her teeth and no longer hesitated. She grabbed Ning Fan's hand. On one side it was cold and soft. On the other side, it was a slightly rough but broad palm. Yunruo was bashful while lamenting that Ning Fan's hand was so rough. He must have suffered for a long time. As for Ning Fan, when he held Yunruo's hand, he secretly praised in his heart. This woman's skin was very good and had a natural elasticity. However, he would not say this out loud to avoid angering Yunruo again. The two of them closed their eyes at almost the same time when they held hands. Their minds, under Yunruo's guidance, sank into Yunruo's head. Outside the Yunruo temple, flowers were blooming like brocade, grass was long, and birds were flying. A barefoot woman and a young man appeared in this world hand in hand. This place was a dreamland. Ning Fan had seen this scenery before in the countries to the west of Yu Country. There was a country called Ming Country. That year, the old monster brought Ning Fan to this place to trample on the Lan Ruo temple to test him in this place. He profaned Yunruo. At this place, the old monster made up his mind to bring him to destroy the Heaven Separation sect. The scenery here is not bad. That day, I came here at night and did not enjoy such exquisite scenery. However, it seems that this Lan Ruo temple is slightly different from what I saw that day. It seems to be lacking some demonic qi. At least you are knowledgeable. The Lan Ruo temple here is the Lan Ruo temple from 1,000 years ago. At that time, I was not Grandma Lan Ruo yet. I was just an ancient pine tree and my sister was only a small winged demon. As for that person, he should not have arrived yet. Damn it, I actually entered the wrong dream. I should be going to the Lan Ruo temple from 1,000 years later. Speaking of which, Yunruo suddenly glared at Ning Fan. Speaking of which, why haven't you let go of my hand? Oh, I thought that we can't let go of each other in a dream. Ning Fan chuckled and let go of Yunruo. Who are you and me? Yunruo was annoyed. She entered the wrong dream and could only wait for it to end. Let's wait for the dream to end and not wander around. It's rare to see the Lan Ruo temple from 1,000 years ago. If we don't wander around, wouldn't it be a waste? That ancient pine tree has a beautiful appearance. It's extraordinary, extraordinary. Let me go and have a look. Ning Fan teleported and entered the Lan Rua temple. There was an ancient pine tree there. There were only a few monks in the temple and they were meditating in their rooms. They did not notice how Ning Fan entered the temple. Even if they saw Ning Fan, they would think that he was just a young master who came for sightseeing. The monks in the temple did not care about it, but Yun Ruowei did. When she saw Ning Fan wandering around, she immediately became anxious. When she saw Ning Fan's hand caressing the ancient pine tree, she immediately became embarrassed and angry. "Don't touch it! Don't touch it!" Almost at the same time, Yun Ruowei's voice and the voice of an oriole at the top of the tree entered Ning Fan's ears. But it was still too late. Ning Fan's hand still caressed the ancient pine tree and praised softly. "Good, good, such a good pine tree. If it is chopped into firewood, it can be sold for a lot of money. Why can't this pine tree be touched?" Ning Fan touched it. Moreover, he only praised the ancient pine tree from the perspective of chopping firewood. Yun Ruowei's expression was extremely embarrassed and angry. She angrily said, "Shameless, shameless, shameless." On the other hand, the oriole on the tree flew down to the ground and transformed into a girl in light yellow clothes. There were 3 feathers on her beautiful hair. She softly scolded Ning Fan. Although she was scolding him, her voice was soft and it made people who heard it feel comfortable. "Don't touch it randomly. This pine tree is my younger sister Ru. She is very shy." "Younger sister Ru?" Ning Fan's expression became strange and immediately withdrew his hand. "Ruowei." This tree appeared in Yun Ruowei's dream again. It was an item from 1,000 years ago. Could it be that this tree was Yun Ruowei from 1,000 years ago? Could it be that I touched Yun Ruowei just now? Cough cough. When one is unlucky, touching a tree is considered as being frivolous and shameless? Yun Ruowei was extremely annoyed. Only when her gaze fell on the yellow-robed girl would her eyes show a trace of gentleness. As for Ning Fan, when his gaze fell on the yellow-robed girl, his heart trembled and his demon blood went out of control. This girl was a winged demon of the bird race. But why could she trigger the demon blood in my body? My name is Ning Qian. This pine tree is my younger sister Ru. Seniors, please be magnanimous and don't hurt my sister. My sister has a spirit formed from grass and wood. It wasn't easy for her to become a demon. Don't worry. I won't hurt you. I won't show mercy to anyone who hurts you. Yun Ruowei said solemnly. If that's the case, thank you. What kind of wind is blowing today? Another senior has come to Lan Rua Temple. The yellow-robed girl suddenly raised her head. Her bright eyes were filled with surprise. Above the sky, a man in white robes came riding on a sword. When he scanned the Lan Rua Temple with his spirit sense, he was immediately surprised. What a good nettle pine. This tree is at least 30,000 years old. It has almost become a spirit. It has a unique use as the sword bone of my evil slaying sword. There are 2 nascent soul realm Taoists here? Could it be that they also have their eyes on this pine tree? In the sky above Ming country, the man in white robes laughed. Suddenly, it started to drizzle within 1,000 miles of the Lan Rua Temple. This pine tree belongs to the god's son of Rain Palace, Yun Tianjue. Fellow nascent soul realm Taoists, please move. His words were arrogant and domineering. His eyes seemed to flash with sword light. His appearance was somewhat similar to Ning Fan's. 1,000 years ago, the divine messenger of Rain Palace, Yun Tianjue, successfully comprehended the divine intent of rain at the mid-nascent soul realm. He suppressed everyone and became one of the god's sons of Rain Palace. 1,000 years later, this man was at the 4th heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. He became an expert who was second only to the Rain Sovereign in the Rain Palace. When this man appeared, the yellow-robed girl panicked. She wanted to stop the man from cutting the pine tree. At this moment, Yun Ruowei sighed. I saw someone I don't want to see. This dream is almost over. As soon as she finished speaking, the dream shattered and reformed. It was still 1,000 miles of green fields and the Lan Rua Temple. However, it was already 1,000 years later. To Yun Ruowei, the scene just now was like a dream that was insignificant. However, to Ning Fan, it made his heart tremble. he had a strange feeling that made his demon blood tremble. At this moment, the demon blood slowly calmed down. What was that? It was an encounter I had 1,000 years ago. It was also the reason why I let you go at the Lanrua temple that day. You and Yun Tianjue are somewhat similar. At first, I thought that you are the person that Rain Palace is looking for. You should know that Rain Palace is looking for someone, right? Is this related to me? No, it has nothing to do with you. Rain Palace is using the strength of 800 cultivation countries to look for one person. The reason is because of the will of the previous Rain Sovereign. Will? Ning Fan knew that Rain Palace was looking for someone. During the 7 apricot Dao fruit auction, the Great Void Sect seemed to have made a big move in Yu country because of this. It even caused the Devil Sects to panic. On that day, Yun Lai seemed to have passed by Sinister Sparrow Sect to look for someone. The Void Fragmentation Realm beggar who appeared in Sinister Sparrow Sect seemed to be looking for someone as well. Before the previous Rain Sovereign passed away, he left behind a divination using the Life Soul technique. This divination has been stored in the Heavenly Fate Pond. Today, 100,000 years later, it was used by the current Rain Sovereign to divine the future of Rain World. In that divination, the Rain Sovereign saw a person. A peerless expert who would overturn the 9 worlds within 1,000 years was actually born in Rain World. He wasn't someone from the 4 heavens immortal world but a cultivator who was born and raised in Rain World. In the divination, the Rain Sovereign only saw the back of that person. Just that back was enough to shatter the Rain Sovereign's primordial spirit. A back was enough to shatter the Rain Sovereign's primordial spirit. That person is a cultivator of Rain World. 1,000 years later, he has actually become so powerful. However, he is still unknown now. In other words, this person has cultivated to a level that could make the Rain Sovereign tremble in fear in just 1,000 years. Ning Fan held his chin and muttered to himself. 1,000 years ago, he was unknown to the Rain Sovereign. If this person really exists and if the Rain Palace roped him in, he would certainly be able to make the Rain World's strength rise tremendously. Then, the Rain World might even be on par with the Devil World, Demon World, and Heaven Immortal World. Presumably, the Rain Sovereign had thought of searching for that person under the heavens because he saw the back of that person. However, does this have anything to do with Yun Ruowei letting me go? When the Rain Sovereign saw that person's back, he divined that this person's magic power was boundless. Thus, he made up his mind to find that person among the 800 cultivation countries. The only proof is that there is a trace of rain intent in that person's chi. Moreover, there is a trace of the rain god's bloodline in the deepest part of his chi. It is highly possible that this person is the descendant of one of the divine princes. Divine princes are the successors of the Rain Palace's divine sovereign. There are more than 30 old and young divine princes in the Rain Palace. However, none of their descendants have outstanding talents. Thus, the Rain Sovereign set his sights on the illegitimate children of the divine princes. It's very normal. Every divine prince will more or less have a few concubines of devil cultivators or even demon cultivators. In the past, the descendants of these concubines were not recognized by the Rain Palace and were abandoned one after another. The people of the Rain Palace are not allowed to have the bloodline of the evil path. So, the Rain Sovereign ordered his men to look for that so-called future expert in the 800 cultivation countries. So, the Rain Palace is actually looking for the orphans and widows who were abandoned by them? Interesting. The fickleness and utilitarian nature of the Rain Palace is far beyond my expectation. When there are no benefits to be gained, they choose to walk the righteous path and abandon their orphans and widows. When there are benefits to be gained, they look for them again. In that case, just because I look a little similar to that Yun Tianjue, do you think that I am not his illegitimate child in the mortal world? That's why you let me go. Ning Fan's eyelids twitched. So, the reason why Yun Ruowei let me go that day was not because of admiration, but because of such superficial reasons. I have nothing to do with that Yun Tianjue. Even though Ning Fan said that, he suddenly remembered that he had a dream with the help of the Ming Luo fruit. He dreamt that his surname was Yun. Perhaps he was really the illegitimate child of some expert in the Rain Palace and was abandoned. However, even if it was true, Ning Fan would not turn back and ask about his ancestors since he was abandoned. He was also aware of the coldness of the Rain Palace. I know that you don't have the Rain God bloodline in your body. You shouldn't be the descendant of the Rain Palace's divine child. Later on, the 800 cultivation countries found a few hundred descendants of the divine child. These people are being nurtured by the Rain Palace. I heard that some of them have extraordinary talents and some of them even have the immemorial divine devil veins. Therefore, the search for them has gradually subsided. That day, I misunderstood you as. That's why I let you go. However, you are not. You don't have to worry about this matter. Is that so? Such a boring topic, let's end it here. Speaking of which, the dream this time should be the Lanrua temple a few years ago, right? Ning Fan changed the topic. He was not interested in the coldness of the Rain Palace at all. To be able to summon a few hundred descendants from the mortal world, these old monsters of the Rain Palace must be really shameless. This is the day I met you a few years ago. Wait for the sky to turn dark. When the sky turns dark, an extremely annoying person will come. Let's kill him together. All right. Ning Fan agreed without hesitation. This time, he did not run around to avoid making Yun Ruowei unhappy again. The sky gradually darkened. The moon rose above the pine branches and sank down again. As the night deepened, an arrogant laughter finally came from a distance. It was unbearable to the ears. Ha! Yun Ruowei, come out. Come out now. Let me touch your breasts. As soon as the icy rainbow appeared, Yun Ruowei's face was filled with killing intent. As for Ning Fan, he did not know whether to laugh or cry. When the icy rainbow dispersed, the person was none other than his 17-year-old self. She was dressed exactly the same as him in the past. However, her expression and words were definitely not his. Yun Ruowei, come out. Come out. I like you very much. I want to hug you, lick you and play with you. Yun Ruowei, I Ning Fan love you so much. Come out. Come out. I can't wait. I'm so thirsty. Such fragrant breasts. I like it. I like it. Looking at the figure that looked exactly the same as him in the night sky, Ning Fan almost vomited blood. As it turned out, Yun Ruowei's heart devil was not related to him at all. Instead, it was him. However, was he really so shameless and perverted in Yun Ruowei's heart? Why did the image in her dream turn into this? Kill him. You go. I can't do it. I can't do it. Yun Ruowei gritted her teeth and said, All right. Ning Fan sighed softly. With a flash, he flew up to the night sky. As for the fake Ning Fan, as soon as he saw the enemy teleporting, he immediately showed a terrified expression and knelt down in the night sky. Grandpa, spare my life. I deserve to die. I only know how to flirt with women. I don't know how to fight. Just die obediently. Even I feel ashamed when I see you. Ning Fan shook his head. With a point of his finger, he easily eliminated the fake Ning Fan. It was the first time in his life that he killed someone. It made him feel ashamed and extremely complicated. It would probably be difficult for him to kill himself for the second time. Moreover, it seemed like he would never be able to make Yun Ruowei have a good impression of him in this lifetime. It can't be helped. Her first impression of him had already turned into this. How embarrassing. Let's go. The heart devil has been eliminated. We can go now. Ning Fan smiled bitterly. He did not want to stay in this dream any longer. Chapter 181. The heart devil is finally gone. Yun Ruowei secretly heaved a sigh of relief. She struggled free from Ning Fan's palm and got down from the bed with a rather shy expression. Ning Fan rubbed his shoulders tiredly. To him, using the dream entering technique was rather exhausting. What? Looking at Miss Yun's expression, could it be that you haven't completely eliminated your inner demons? Oh, thank you. She gently bit her lip and took a deep breath. Her words of thanks were extremely bashful. Ning Fan did not mind it at all. He was quite satisfied with the dream entering technique. Soul searching and memory erasing would heavily damage a cultivator's sea of consciousness, even turning them into an idiot. However, entering a dream was a good method to pry into a cultivator's memories. It was just that dreams could be real or fake. Compared to soul searching, the degree of realism was somewhat lacking. In short, using the dream intrusion technique to pry into the memories of those close to him was not a bad idea. Only half a day had passed in the outside world. Yunrui didn't stay any longer and left in a hurry. After getting rid of the heart devil, she no longer had any complicated feelings when facing Ning Fan. What she had now was the calmness that was as calm as water in the past. However, when he was about to leave, he hesitated for a moment before speaking to Ning Fan. After this demon tide is over, I probably won't return to Lanrua Temple. If you need help in the future, you can look for me at the Southeast Cultivator Alliance. I'll definitely do my best to help you. If necessary, I will come to you for help. Ning Fan cupped his fists and sent her down the stairs. With this woman's promise, it wouldn't be considered as helping her for nothing. Yu country and nearly 100 other cultivation countries were located in the southeast of the Rain world. This region was known as the Southeast Continent. The Southeastern Cultivator Alliance was a sectless cultivator alliance in the Southeastern Continent. As the divine messenger of the Rain Palace, why didn't she cultivate or carry out missions in the branch palace of the Rain Palace but went to the Rogue Cultivators Merchant Alliance instead? Ning Fan did not ask her the reason. The woman left. It was drizzling outside the building. Barefooted, she held the paper umbrella and left under the curtain of rain. However, after Ning Fan entered the building, she suddenly halted her footsteps and turned her head to look at the Mingyu Tower with a beautiful smile. I seem to have misjudged him. When it's time to be serious, he's quite serious. After sending Yunruo off, Ning Fan returned to the building. He cleared his mind and meditated again. His qi and blood were abundant, and his injuries were completely healed. These were the benefits of consuming the 3 drops of demon blood. In fact, after his demonic power reached the half-step golden core stage, it was extremely easy for him to use the dream intruder technique. He stood outside the window and smiled as he watched the woman leave with an umbrella. Holding an umbrella. Do you want to give an umbrella to fellow Daoistine? It's always nice to see a woman holding an umbrella, but which cultivator would hold an umbrella? While he was deep in thought, the Eastern Ocean bell in his storage pouch trembled slightly and disappeared without a trace. That tremble made Ning Fan frown. His spirit sense swept across 1,000 li, but he did not discover anything unusual. Strange. Why is the Eastern Ocean bell trembling? Forget it, I'll be leaving in 10 days. The remaining days are just enough for me to fuse Separation Slayer with the ancient star system. Even so, Ning Fan still had some doubts in his heart. He performed a divination and felt a strange feeling in his heart. But the result of the divination was nothing but a bad omen. This undoubtedly meant that the person who wanted to kill him must have an extremely high cultivation base. He might even be at the divine transformation realm. It's not revered snow. There's only one other spirit severing realm expert left in the Gene Nation. Demon General Liban. Impossible. I killed his demon companions and captured the 2 of them. I don't think he would have any intention to kill me. If that's the case, it's better for me to leave Jushan Pass as soon as possible just in case. Millions of li away, in the depths of the Dragon Dream Swamp. This place was a swamp that was covered with green mist. The area within 10,000 li was carefully guarded by demons. In the depths of the swamp, a 3,000 zhang giant blood-red beast was lying dormant, absorbing the dragon qi in the swamp. This blood-red beast had a carp head with fangs, but its body was in the shape of a snake. Below the snake's body, there were 8 bloody claws. The blood-red scales glowed with lightning, transforming into a dragon's body. Blood carp transforming into a dragon. This beast was the true body of the divine transformation realm demon general. The blood-red eyes of the beast flickered. Within the lightning, the carp head gradually grew dragon horns and transformed into a dragon's head. This transformation lasted for 10 days. The mist in the swamp gradually thinned and was stained by the bloody light. As the bloody mist rolled, the giant carp completely transformed into a dragon's head. Suddenly, it soared into the sky and transformed into a 1,000-zhang-long blood dragon. At this moment, countless lightning tribulations struck down from the sky, causing countless small demons in the Dragon Dream Swamp to tremble in fear. However, the blood dragon suddenly transformed into a naked man with blood-red scales all over his body. This man had a head full of red hair, making him look like a mad devil. In his left eye, there were 2 blood-red demon stars flickering in a demonic manner. On his forehead, there were 2 silver dragon horns that glowed with lightning. Demon General, Li Ban. Facing the lightning tribulation, the demon stars in Li Ban's left eye flashed. He opened his mouth and sucked all the lightning into his stomach. After that, he revealed a satisfied expression. Not bad. After the blood carp transformed into a dragon, I've cultivated my second demon avatar, the lightning dragon avatar. I'm no longer afraid of the lightning tribulation. No wonder it's a secret technique given by Lord Demon Commander. It's really useful. He retracted his cold smile and waved his hand. A necklace made of beast bones appeared in his palm. This necklace made of beast bones was extremely extraordinary. It contained a trace of void energy. It was actually a pseudo-void treasure. A pseudo-void treasure was a failed product of a void treasure. This necklace was probably given to this demon general by a void refinement realm or void fragmentation realm cultivator who failed to refine a void treasure. There were originally 12 beast teeth on it. Now, only 9 of them were glowing with a bloody light. As for the other 3, 2 of them were dim and the last one was broken. The tea demon and the wind demon have been captured and the lion demon is about to die. If it wasn't for this void accompanying necklace, I wouldn't have known that the 3 of them were killed by someone. The murderer is in Zhu Shanguan of Jin country. There's no mistake. There's blood chi on his body. It's left behind by the lion demon. He must be the one who killed the lion demon. However, this person seems to have a secret treasure on him. He was even able to block a trace of the void detection from my necklace. However, what surprised me was not the treasure that blocked the detection, but the ancient demon sacrificial tool on him. It was able to shatter my trace of void energy. The red-haired man's eyes turned cold. He sneered, but his words were cold. It doesn't matter if he's captured or dead. However, the lion demon has the immemorial star and immemorial dragon blood that I bestowed to him. I can't let them fall into this person's hands easily. As for the ancient demon sacrificial artifact, in his hands, it's even more worth for me to take action. The mission that Lord Demon Marshal gave us can only be completed in the demon world. Before that, we should get rid of this person first. There were still 3 days left before the immemorial teleportation formation of Great Jin opened. After passing through dozens of cultivation cities, there were still 2.5 days left before the immemorial teleportation formation. Ning Fan had already resigned from his position as the 7th commander and left Zhu Shanguan with Yin Suqiu and Jing Zhua. They used the teleportation formation to head towards the central region of Jin country. They came and left in a hurry. Currently, Zhu Shanguan should have sent out all their forces to attack and conquer the Jin country. However, all of this had nothing to do with Ning Fan. He had no interest in risking his life to fight against the spirit-severing realm demon general at the Dragon Dream Swamp. What he cared about was the sense of danger that was getting closer and closer. Every time he teleported, the sense of danger would be much weaker. However, not long after, the sense of danger would get closer again. It was as if there was someone chasing after him no matter where he teleported. Could it be that the spirit-severing realm demon general has avoided the decisive battle and is chasing after me? Ning Fan's heart shuddered when he thought of this possibility. He immediately teleported to the next location as soon as he arrived at the cultivation city. 2 days later, at the location of the immemorial teleportation formation of Jiang Prefecture City in the central region of Jin country. Ning Fan only kept 300,000 battle points here and used the rest to exchange for immortal jades. After paying 300,000 battle points, the 3 of them were led to the immemorial teleportation formation under Jiang Prefecture City. The area of 1,000 li around Jiang Prefecture City was hollowed out and used to draw the formation map. The underground was humid and the stone pillars were long. Ning Fan did not say a word and released his spirit sense to cover 1,000 li. He was shocked when he counted the number of formation eyes. There were more than 70,000 formation eyes in this formation. He would never be able to lay this formation without the formation map. Even if he had the formation map and knew how to locate the formation eyes, he would never be able to connect all 70,000 formation eyes without Void Refinement Realm Spirit Sense. This formation was definitely an immortal Void Realm Grand Formation. It could even be considered as a top-grade Grand Formation among the immortal Void Realm formations. The Grand Formation could only allow 10 people to enter at a time. In the past, no one had to pay 100,000 immortal jades. Now, it was 100,000 battle points. This formation could teleport to more than 10 realms, but every time it was activated, it would cost 700,000 immortal jades. Even so, a single teleportation could earn 300,000 immortal jades. The Rain Palace would get 90% of the immortal jades and the Gene Country would get 10%. Huge profits were bound to breed conflicts. Activating the Grand Formation once a year would reduce the income by 270,000 immortal jades. In 100 years, it would be 27 million immortal jades. In 1,000 years, it would be 270 million immortal jades. The King of Gene had lived for thousands of years. During the years when he ruled the Gene Country, the income was reduced by hundreds of millions of immortal jades. Naturally, he was not on good terms with the Rain Palace. If he could obtain so many immortal jades, the King of Gene would have a chance to break through to the spirit-severing realm. The Gene Country would also have a chance to become a high-grade cultivation country. The Rain Palace might have set up a branch in the Gene Country to plunder immortal jades or to suppress the country's development. No matter what, this teleportation formation would make the Rain Palace and the Gene Country rich. At the very least, it would require a huge amount of immortal jades to invite cultivators from other countries to deal with the demon tide. Perhaps even ordinary mid-grade cultivation countries might not be able to afford it. An immortal void realm formation is indeed extraordinary. Ning Fan withdrew his spirit sense and praised. The cultivator who led the way immediately agreed after hearing Ning Fan's praise. Senior Zhou has such sharp eyes. This grand formation is indeed an immortal void realm formation. Rumor has it that it was personally assessed by a formation master of the Rain Palace. I didn't expect Senior to be able to see through the mysteries of this formation during your first visit. You really have a pair of unique eyes. Ning Fan only nodded his head in response to the cultivator's flattery. Even so, the cultivator who led the way felt very proud. He was just an early gold core realm cultivator. It was really a blessing of 3 lifetimes to be able to talk to a nascent soul realm old ancestor. Moreover, this old ancestor's battle achievements were outstanding. Even the people in the central region of the Gene Country had heard of him. Jingzhou looked at Ning Fan enviously. If he succeeds in forming his nascent soul during this trip to the Endless Sea, he would probably be able to enjoy the same glory as Ning Fan. As for Yin Suqiu, when she saw Ning Fan's pretentious expression, she covered her mouth with her hand to hold back her laughter. She was thinking how complicated it would be if the Gold Core Realm cultivator who led the way knew that the person he addressed as Senior was just a harmonious Spirit Realm Junior who was not even 20 years old. 10,000 zhang under the ground was completely hollowed out to form a vast world which was supported by a talisman formation. The ground was paved with black slabs made of basalt. Occasionally, there would be holes filled with immortal jades which shone brightly. The eyes of the formation were connected with each other using their sense power. There were 7 people waiting for the grand formation to be activated. Among the 7 of them, 5 of them were Gold Core Realm while the other 2 were early nascent Soul Realm cultivators. When they saw Ning Fan and his group, even the 2 early nascent Soul Realm cultivators showed a friendly smile and cupped their fists to greet them. Chen Xiu greets Commander Zhou Ming. Oh. These 2 fellow Taoists look a little familiar. Hee. Commander Zhou, don't forget that we are also part of the Demon Extermination Division. We have met in the Cloud Palace when revered Snow summoned us. Both Chen Xiu and Yang Zhu were nascent soul realm cultivators from other countries. They were considered as old ancestors in their own mid-level cultivation countries. When they arrived at a low-level cultivation country, they would need to be welcomed by the entire country's cultivators. However, these two old monsters were extremely courteous when facing Ning Fan. There was no other reason other than Ning Fan's strength made the two of them fearful and admired him. So it's fellow Taoist Qin and fellow Taoist Yang. Nice to meet you. Ning Fan returned the greeting with a smile. However, his heart was filled with shock. It wasn't because of their respectful and coincidental meeting. Instead, it was because their faces were already showing signs of death. The study of physiognomy was extremely ancient and profound. However, it was easy to tell the signs of death. Occasionally, there would be some cultivators who would die a horrible death not long after. When it reached a certain extent, their faces would show signs of death. In other words, the two of them would die a horrible death not long after. Could it be that their deaths were related to the lingering crisis in my heart? Or could it be that Demon General Li Ban had chased them all the way to Jiangzhou City? Chapter 182. No, it's nothing. There was no way he could tell the two of them that he could see the look of death on their faces and that they were going to die very miserably later. Would anyone believe it? Saying that would offend people for nothing. Sigh, I heard that Commander Zhou Ming was heavily injured and had no choice but to resign from his position as the commander of the Gene Guards. We felt it was a great pity. Not at all, not at all. My abilities are shallow, and I was actually injured in the battle against the demons. I've made a fool of myself. I don't know why this teleportation formation is still not activated. Right now, I can't wait to leave Great Gene. Ning Fan frowned. The danger was getting closer and closer. It made it hard for him to calm down. Fellow Taoist Zhou, there's something you don't know. This ancient teleportation formation can teleport you tens of millions of miles in a single go. The distance is too far. If there's any mistake, all of us will die in the void and be unable to teleport successfully. That's why we need to inspect it carefully for a few days before we teleport. Oh, that's right. Speaking of which, I'm preparing to teleport to the Middle Continent to participate in the pill gathering. As for fellow Taoist Yang, he's heading to the Western River to assist his sect. May I ask where fellow Taoist Zhou is heading to? For you to be in such a hurry, could it be that you have something important to attend to? If you can travel with us, it will be a pleasure. What a pity. I'm going to the easternmost region. The Endless Sea has some bottlenecks that I need to break through there. What? Bottleneck in cultivation? Is fellow Taoist Zhou about to break through to the late nascent soul stage? Chen Xiu and Yang Zhu's expressions changed. The former's attitude towards Ning Fan became even more respectful while the latter's eyes were filled with a hint of jealousy. Above nascent soul, every small stage has a huge difference. In terms of magic power, mid-nascent soul cultivators have twice as much magic power as early nascent soul cultivators. Late-stage cultivators had 3 times the mana of mid-stage cultivators. Peak nascent soul cultivators had 5 times the mana of late-stage cultivators. On the path of cultivation, the higher one went, the greater the difference in magic power. The difference in strength was also like heaven and earth. If Ning Fan really breaks through to the late nascent soul realm, the gap between him and the two of them would be even wider. How could they not be shocked? What they did not know was that Ning Fan was not a nascent soul realm cultivator at all. What he broke through was not the bottleneck of the late nascent soul realm but just the core formation realm. However, even if he told them face to face that Ning Fan was a harmonious spirit cultivator, they most likely wouldn't believe him. Chen Xiu was still in the mood to chat cheerfully and wittily, but Yang Zhu's expression was rather unsightly. What the two of them had in common was that they did not know that their deaths were imminent. Ning Fan knitted his brows tightly. The sense of danger that was getting closer and closer made him anxious. Can you enter the formation immediately? Sigh, fellow Taoist Zhou, why are you in such a hurry? We are delaying for a little longer for the sake of our lives. If there is a mistake in the teleportation, all of us will die a violent death. Chinshio laughed. I really have something urgent to attend to. I need to leave immediately. Can I request for the teleportation formation to be activated immediately? Ning Fan shook his head. If there was no sense of danger, it was natural for him to delay for a while longer. However, at this moment he would rather waste less time than stay in Jin country for a second longer. Fellow Taoist Zhou, it's not that this old man wants to criticize you, but how can you be so stubborn? All of us have important matters to attend to, but we can't treat our lives as child's play just because of you, right? Yang Zhu said unhappily. However, Qin Xiu immediately coughed a few times to stop Yang Zhu from speaking. Ning Fan was a cultivator who was about to break through to the late nascent soul realm. It was not worthwhile to offend him for such a small matter. Forget it. I've thought of a compromise. We will enter our respective formations while teaching those Gold Core Realm juniors how to check the formations. In this way, it will reduce the time needed to enter the formations. Is fellow Taoist Zhou satisfied with this? Chen Xiu chuckled and erased Yang Zhu's words. Ning Fan, on the other hand, nodded helplessly. In that case, he could only wait a little longer. After all, if they do not check the teleportation formations carefully, it would be dangerous for them to be buried in the void. What Chen Xiu said was not unreasonable. In that case, I will wait a little longer. In the underground, under the guidance of the cultivators who were guarding the formations, everyone entered different formations. This underground grand formation was divided into more than 10 towns. Each of them could teleport to more than 10 different destinations. In the Endless Sea town, only Ning Fan and the other two were waiting. Ning Fan sat cross-legged on the ground. He did not put down his tortoise shell and placed it on the ground. As expected, it was a great omen. The more he divined, the more dangerous the divination became. It made Ning Fan's expression fluctuate. The sense of danger became more and more intense. They could not stay in Jin country for too long. They must immediately travel tens of millions of li and arrive at Ing country to avoid this calamity. Is something big going to happen? The corner of Jingzhu's eyes shrunk. He could see the worry in Ning Fan's eyes. I have a bad premonition. Then why don't we leave quickly? Suchio looked at Ning Fan's solemn expression. Based on her understanding, Ning Fan would never do things without thinking. All right. Ning Fan nodded and asked one of the cultivators who was guarding the formation indifferently. How much longer do we need to check the formation? Senior, we still need 2 more hours. That's so long. We can't wait any longer. Open the formation now. The cultivators who were guarding the formation revealed a troubled expression. If they do not check it carefully, they would not be able to bear the responsibility if something happens to the teleportation formation. As for Yang Zhu, he said with dissatisfaction, Fellow Taoist Zhou Ming, why do you have to force others to do something that is beyond their control? Don't tell me that you, a dignified nascent soul realm old monster, don't even have the willpower to wait for 2 more hours. Fellow Taoist Yang, be careful with your words. Chen Xiu persuaded Yang Zhu. He shook his head while crying and laughing. His meaning was obvious. Fellow Taoist Yang, do you want to die? That Zhou Ming is a ruthless person who could even kill a mid-nascent soul realm expert. Why do you want to offend him? Yang Zhu's expression turned ugly. He was used to being arrogant in his own country. It was really uncomfortable to lower his head in front of Ning Fan. He let out a heavy sigh and nodded. All right. Quickly activate the formation light. Fellow Taoist Zhou Ming should be satisfied now, right? Since Yang Zhu and the others had agreed, the Gold Core Realm guards did not dare to disobey them anymore. All the work of checking the formation was carried out in a simple manner. After confirming that there were no mistakes, the Gold Core Realm guards did not dare to delay and immediately activated the formation light. Strands of void energy surrounded everyone, causing ripples to reverberate between heaven and earth. Ning Fan gently closed his eyes. Perhaps this way he could avoid the danger. Finally, I'm finally going to arrive at the Endless Sea. Core formation, nascent soul, spirit severing, void returning, void fragmentation. Step by step, he would increase his strength at the fastest speed possible. Unlike Ning Fan, In Suchio's heart was filled with disappointment. Once they arrive at the Endless Sea, she and Ning Fan would have to part ways. Will they ever meet again in this life? This journey was unforgettable. Will I be able to play a flute for him in this life? However, Great Jean seemed to be filled with unpredictable dangers. It might be better to leave earlier, but she still felt disappointed. The formation light flickered and the heaven and earth shook. The 10 people who entered the formation were illuminated by the light. After a few breaths, they would be teleported to their respective destinations. Yang Zhu's expression was as cold as water. He snorted coldly, as if he was still dissatisfied with the fact that he had lowered his head to Ning Fan. However, at the moment when the formation light shone, a bloody demonic qi spread across the entire Jiangzhou city. Then a cold laughter was heard. You won't be able to escape after killing my demon companion. I've finally caught up to you. In an instant, all the cultivators in Jiangzhou city felt their souls tremble. Underground, Chen Xiu and Yang Zhu both turned pale with fright in that instant. Spirit-severing demon general. Impossible. Shouldn't the demon general be at the Dragon Dream Swamp? Why is he here? At this moment, even Ning Fan's heart was filled with shock. He didn't expect that he couldn't escape from the demon general's pursuit even though he had been extremely careful and refused to fight. There's no mistake. This bloody qi was exactly the same as the blood-scaled shadow that was destroyed when he subdued the female demon. There's no mistake. That lingering sense of danger was brought by this demon. As the demon general chased after him, a demonic qi enveloped the entire Jiangzhou city. Demonic art, blood sea. In the midst of that cold voice, the entire Jiangzhou city within 1,000 li radius was shrouded by the blood-colored light. Miserable screams could be heard as everything turned into pus and blood. All the cultivators were killed. In the ruins, the 10,000 zhang underground was shattered by the blood-colored light, revealing the blue sky and the sun. In the sky, a red-haired blood-scaled man was standing. He was looking down at the sea of blood beneath his feet. His eyes were filled with indifference and an irresistible spirit-severing realm aura. His eyelids twitched. He didn't expect that he was one step too late. The human who killed his demon companion had already hidden in the teleportation formation. The formation light had already been activated. He would be teleported in a few breaths. What a cunning human! After he successfully transformed into a dragon, he secretly left the Dragon Dream Swamp and sneaked into the land of the human race to chase after this person. However, he didn't expect this person to be faster than him. He used the teleportation formation to cross countless cultivation cities, making him tired of chasing after him. With the formation light activated, even he wouldn't dare to enter the formation recklessly under the power of the void. From the looks of it, he could only use his demonic art to kill the murderer in the formation before the teleportation to stop the teleportation. His blood-colored eyes flashed and the blood-colored light became even brighter. Each and every cultivator outside the teleportation formation was already horrified. Those who were shrouded by the blood-colored light immediately turned into pus and blood and died a violent death. The cultivators who guarded the formation died in a single breath. Out of the 10 people who entered the formation, 5 unfamiliar gold core realm cultivators died under the blood-colored light. Yang Zhu and Chen Xiu used their supreme grade magical treasures to resist the blood-colored light. However, their magical treasures were full of cracks and would break at any time. The blood-colored light shrouded Ning Fan and the others. His back was drenched in cold sweat. Even his strongest magical art couldn't resist this blood-colored light. As for his trump card, the spirit-severing realm attack, it was impossible for him to use it against the demon general. Without any hesitation, he pointed his finger, causing the terrain within 1,000 li to collapse and turn into Ning Fan's finger. Sword finger, mountain shattering. When his finger pressed down, a gray sword light that was half an inch thick appeared. It was a finger and a sword, but it carried a loud rumble that could collapse mountains and crack the earth. As the finger pressed down, the blood-colored light screen within 1,000 zhang fiercely shook and shattered. Yang Zhu and Chen Xiu were lucky enough to keep their lives. As for the blood-scaled man, he stood in the air and was slightly surprised. A harmonious spirit realm junior blocking my blood sea technique is quite extraordinary. But what will happen the next time the blood-colored light attacks? Ning Fan's current realm was far from enough to block the blood-colored light. He could only slightly disperse it. After a while, the blood-colored light condensed again and attacked again with the same power. However, Ning Fan's strength was almost exhausted after that finger attack, making it difficult for him to use the sword finger again. The reason why he could disperse the blood-colored light was because the demonic art was weakened by half by the void power of the teleportation formation. Is this the huge gap between me and a spirit-severing realm demon general? Ning Fan wiped the trace of blood from the corner of his mouth and his eyes revealed a cold light. There were only 2 breaths left before the teleportation formation was completed. He must block the blood-colored light within these 2 breaths. The teleportation formation had been activated. In another 2 breaths, he would be able to safely teleport thousands of li away. Even a demon general would not be able to catch up to him. 2 breaths. Even Yang Zhu and Chen Xiu realized that these 2 breaths would determine whether they would be able to survive or not. Yang Zhu regretted it greatly. No wonder Zhou Ming kept asking to leave as soon as possible. He didn't expect Jiangzhou City to be targeted by a spirit-severing realm demon general. If he knew this earlier, he wouldn't have stopped Zhou Ming from activating the formation earlier. Perhaps, he would be the first one to ask for the formation to be activated so that he could leave as soon as possible. Just as he was regretting, the second wave of blood-colored light had already arrived. Yang Zhu's heart skipped a beat and his magical treasure missed. He was immediately enveloped by the blood-colored light and died a violent death. He only had himself to blame for his death. He could have avoided death if he had listened to Ning Fan's suggestion. As for Chen Xiu, his magical treasure was destroyed and his physical body was buried in the blood-colored light. However, his nascent soul was lucky enough to escape from the blood-colored light. Without any hesitation, he dashed towards Ning Fan. Escaping to the middle province and participating in the pill gathering were no longer important. What was more important than his life? In his opinion, if he wanted to escape this time, he would have to rely on Ning Fan to protect himself. After all, during the first wave of blood-colored light, Ning Fan had protected Jingzhua and Yin Suqiu from any harm. Fellow Taoist Zhou, save me. Save me. After this, I will definitely give you all my life savings. Chen Xiu's tiny nascent soul hid behind Jingzhua and Ning Fan while trembling. Protecting one person was protecting 3 people was also protecting. If he couldn't delay them for another 2 breaths, any nonsense would be futile. Ning Fan did not object to Chen Xiu hiding behind him. He only wanted to resist the second wave of blood-colored light. Sense defense art. The ink-colored sword sense flew out at this moment and turned into a black cocoon, wrapping everyone inside. The sense defense art used all of one's sense power to resist once. With a Ning Fan sense power, he could only use it once a day. However, its defensive power was terrifying. It could withstand an attack from an early nascent soul realm cultivator and a mid-nascent soul realm cultivator. However, such a defense immediately melted when the blood-colored light came. Ning Fan's sea of consciousness was severely injured and blood flowed out from his 7 orifices. Ning Fan's face was covered with blood after the sense defense art was broken. However, his eyes revealed his ruthlessness. He gritted his teeth. The broken black light immediately turned into black sword sense and fiercely slashed at the blood-colored light, destroying the remaining blood-colored light. The injury to his sea of consciousness became more serious. However, he managed to withstand the second wave of blood-colored light. There was still 1 breath left before the teleportation. Li Ban, who was standing in the sky, was surprised. Ning Fan was just a harmonious spirit cultivator, but he was able to withstand 2 waves of his blood-colored light. It seemed like it wouldn't be easy to use the blood-colored demonic technique to take down this person in the last breath. Other than the blood-colored demonic technique, he had other means to deal with a harmonious spirit cultivator. I have said that you can't escape. Dragon tendon appear. Li Ban pressed his finger on his glabella and fiercely pulled out a long silver whip that was surrounded by lightning. This item wasn't anything else. It was the dragon tendon that was condensed from lightning when Li Ban transformed into a blood carp. This dragon tendon didn't need any refinement to be as strong as a supreme rank magical treasure. It had many magical uses that even a magical treasure couldn't compare to. For example, a magical treasure couldn't penetrate the void and hit Ning Fan's body, but this dragon tendon could. As the whip lashed down, tens of thousands of lightning bolts rolled down. Under the shadow of the whip and lightning, 1,000 li of land was split into two halves by Li Ban. Even the formation eyes under the ground were destroyed by this whip. Even if the teleportation was successful, there wouldn't be enough formation power to isolate the void. Ning Fan and the others would die for sure. The shadow of the whip lashed at Ning Fan. There was no way to avoid it. If the whip fell, he would die for sure and his storage pouch would belong to Li Ban. Eastern Ocean Bell, an ancient demon's sacrificial artifact. This item was very important to Li Ban. But at this moment, Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and took out the Eastern Ocean Bell. The small golden bell grew in the wind. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with coldness and he punched the golden bell fiercely. Li Ban, you've gone too far. This punch contained the fusion of his magical power and demonic power. His magical power was infinitely close to mid-gold core realm. He had activated 40% of the power of the Eastern Ocean Bell. The sound wave turned into a golden ring of light and spread out from the Eastern Ocean Bell. As the ring of light trembled, even the lightning whip was frozen in place for a moment. It even trembled slightly due to fear. What? The corner of Li Ban's eyes shrunk. He had already found out that Ning Fan had an ancient demon's sacrificial artifact. However, he only thought that it was a supreme rank magical treasure and didn't pay much attention to it. He only valued it because it was an ancient demon's sacrificial artifact. However, he didn't expect that the sacrificial artifact would be so strange. Not to mention the dragon tendon lightning whip, even Li Ban himself was afraid of the golden sound wave. It wasn't the body freezing technique, but the demonic deterrence that made the lightning whip not dare to move recklessly. What kind of demonic chi did the sound of the bell contain? Just a trace of it was enough to make the lightning whip want to submit. It made Li Ban's heart tremble. Then, something happened that made Li Ban even more furious. Ning Fan touched his glabella. A ray of starlight flew out and turned into a sword shadow, cutting the dragon tendon. The dragon tendon was condensed by the lightning power of the immemorial lightning dragon. It was invisible and would never break. That was why the man in the blood Qilin felt at ease and used it as a treasure to whip Ning Fan. However, under the slash of the starlight sword shadow, the invisible lightning whip was cut into two. That sword light was too fast and too sharp. It was so fast that Li Ban didn't have time to pull back his lightning whip. When he was shocked and pulled back his lightning whip, there was only half of the dragon tendon left. The remaining half fell into Ning Fan's hand. The dragon tendon was invisible and couldn't be cut. Only an immemorial divine weapon could cut it. That starlight sword shadow was able to cut the dragon tendon. It was undoubtedly an immemorial divine weapon. Moreover, there were too many stars in that sword. Li Ban's eyes were filled with killing intent. Those immemorial stars were the things that he gave to the lion demon. His dragon veins had been severed by his own star iron. You deserve to die. He glared at Ning Fan but found that Ning Fan was also glaring at him. At this moment, Ning Fan's eyes flashed with a cold light. He stared at the man in the blood Qilin fearlessly. At the last breath, the formation light flashed. Ning Fan and the others were no longer here. There was only a mess, ruins, a sea of blood and corpses. But Ning Fan's words were still echoing in this place. The trace of killing intent in his words made Li Ban tremble. Li Ban, today, you hit me with your dragon tendon. I will cut your dragon tendon. If we meet again in the future, you won't be able to escape death. Li Ban's eyes widened with killing intent. He never thought that a mere harmonious spirit Ning Fan, who was supposed to be an ant that he could capture easily, would escape from his hands. Blocking his blood light twice, cutting off half of his dragon tendon and opposing him, leaving behind harsh words. This kid is hateful. However, I have destroyed countless formation eyes of the immemorial teleportation formation. Without the protection of the formation power, even if he can teleport, he will certainly be crushed by the void power. Unfortunately, that ancient demon sacrificial tool will also be sleeping in the void. I'm afraid I will need at least 100 years of hard cultivation to reconstruct my dragon tendon. Li Ban clenched his fists. Although Ning Fan was dead, he suffered such a loss when he killed a harmonious spirit realm cultivator with his spirit-severing realm cultivation. But at least I can bury this kid in the void. At least I can reduce the hatred in my heart. Li Ban's gaze landed on the countless cultivators rushing over. One of the snow-white lights caused his eyes to shrink. Spirit-severing realm cultivators of the human race are really annoying. Forget it. I have finally succeeded in transforming into a dragon. I will stop the demon tide and go to the demon world. I believe the demon king of the demon world has already arrived and is ready to welcome me. The mission of the demon marshal must be the first priority. His red hair fluttered in the air. Li Ban sneered and turned into a bloody light. As for the demon tide of Great Jean and the remaining companions, he did not care about them at all. He was so cold. However, he was destined to be disappointed. One day later, Ning Fan and the others finally arrived at Ing Country even though they were heavily injured. Void power? What is there to be afraid of? Ning Fan had the Eastern Ocean Bell which could restrain the void power. Chapter 183. Yun Ruowei stood among the ruins and looked at the broken teleportation formation. Her heart was filled with annoyance. That stinking brat, don't tell me, he's dead? Sigh. I didn't expect a spirit-severing realm demon general to attack Jiangzhou City. It seems like Commander Zhou Ming and the others died in the teleportation formation. Jie Xiu sighed. He's not dead. He's definitely not dead. Yun Ruowei bit her lips and felt even more annoyed. Ing Country was immersed in a sea of pink flowers in April. The closest city to the endless sea was Edo City. It was 1,000 miles away, city filled with cherry blossoms. The most powerful force in Edo City was Xiaoshan Temple, which was guarded by a nascent soul realm cultivator. The most famous place in the city was the heaven-evading boat which could dive into the deep sea and the cultivation spring which could increase one's cultivation level. At the place where the spirit vein was the most abundant, elegant female cultivators with green skin were bathing naked in the cultivation spring. Chen Xiu was very annoyed. During the long teleportation, Ning Fan planted a mental seal on him and took away his storage pouch which contained his life's savings. This was his reward for what he had promised. When the teleportation platform in Edo City flashed, his small nascent soul realm cultivator, Ning Fan and the others were teleported out. However, he did not have the mood to appreciate the picturesque scenery of Edo City. Ning Fan was still pretending to be a mid-nascent soul realm cultivator, but he was severely injured. Chen Xiu's small nascent soul realm cultivator could not be faked, but his physical body was destroyed. As soon as they arrived at Edo City, the three great nascent soul realm cultivators of Xiaoshan Temple panicked. The three nascent soul realm female cultivators flew into the sky with fear. Even they did not dare to neglect the arrival of two nascent soul realm cultivators. When they noticed Ning Fan and Chen Xiu's injuries, their fear lessened slightly. With their injuries, they would not be able to do as they please in Edo City. However, their injuries made them wonder what kind of injuries could cause two nascent soul realm cultivators to be so severely injured. The three female cultivators of Xiaoshan Temple were wearing the clothes of Ing Country. One of them was an old woman who was a mid-nascent soul realm cultivator, while the other two were an early nascent soul realm cultivator. Edo City was the territory of female cultivators. Male cultivators usually lived outside the city. Only nascent soul realm old monsters could enjoy special treatment. Cough cough. Fellow Taoists, how do I address you? Are you from Great Jean? The old lady who was leaning on her dragon-headed walking stick asked Ning Fan politely. She could tell that Ning Fan was the leader of the group. I am Zhou Ming. This fellow nascent soul cultivator is fellow Taoist Qin. This half-step nascent soul cultivator is fellow Taoist Jing. This woman is my Taoist companion. Just as fellow Taoist had expected, there was a slight accident when we were teleporting away. As a result, we were severely injured. Please forgive me. Ning Fan smiled faintly and attributed his injuries to a mistake in the teleportation. After all, it was rather shocking to be able to escape with their lives after being injured by a divine transformation realm expert. Something. Is there something wrong with the void defense? He was inwardly shocked. It would be understandable if the people in front of him were injured by the power of the void due to a mistake in the defense of the void. Not to mention nascent soul cultivators, even soul formation cultivators had their bodies torn apart and only their primordial spirits managed to escape. However, to be able to escape from the void, other than luck, one's strength must be extraordinary as well. The old woman looked at Ning Fan with some fear. As for the young woman, her eyes were filled with lust. She winked at Ning Fan with a hint of charm. The women of Ing are always so frivolous. Fellow cultivators, you're seriously injured, but you can recover quickly if you stay in the cultivation spring of Aiza City. Since you're all nascent soul cultivators, I'll make an exception and enter the city. The injury is a small matter. Is there a heaven-evading boat that can immediately sail to the endless sea? What? Now that you are seriously injured, you must immediately head to the endless sea. Not to mention that we don't have a boat right now. Even if we did, I wouldn't allow you to die in the endless sea with injuries. When you go to the endless sea, you must not have any injuries. Taoist friend, don't you know? While leading the way into the city, the three female cultivators explained the situation of Ing country to Ning Fan. The heaven-evading boat would leave once a month, and there were 10 boats in each boat. This boat had just left not long ago and had yet to return. It was estimated that there would be another 20 days before it could return. As for not getting injured, it was referring to external injuries. In other words, cultivators must not let out a trace of blood qi. Otherwise, they would be in great danger. The reason why the heaven-evading boat could travel at such a fast speed was because it was called the heaven-evading boat. By borrowing the power of the tide and the power of the ancient water-evading formation, its speed in the water was almost comparable to a late nascent soul realm cultivator flying at full speed. In the endless sea, there was a bloodthirsty demon race, the mermaid race. Mermaids were sharks. This demon race was the hybrid of the ancient shark race and the human race. They were born in the sea, but they could not leave it. Their eyes had degenerated, but their sense of smell was very sensitive. Moreover, none of them could cultivate, but they were born with a terrifying bite that could tear gold core realm cultivators apart. Once the smell of blood comes from the sea, countless frenzied mermaids would immediately come to attack them no matter how faint it was. It was extremely dangerous for an injured person to travel on a heaven-evading boat. Even if they had internal injuries, who could guarantee that they would not cough out blood during the journey and attract the attention of the mermaids? For this reason, Ning Fan could only wait in Aiza City for a while. It was just 20 days. He could wait. It was also a good choice to treat his injuries with the cultivation spring in Aiza City. Qin Xiu was still depressed. He was soaking in the same spring as Jingzhuo while being watched by the latter. Ning Fan did not let him go, but he did not kill him either. His attitude was ambiguous, which made Qin Xiu feel extremely depressed. If it was Qin Xiu who picked up a cultivator's nascent soul for free, he would also not let him go easily. A cultivator's nascent soul can be used as a sacrificial material for magic treasures. It can make magic treasures sharper. It can be used as a condiment for pill concoction to improve the quality of the pills. If it's used to refine corpses, souls, or devil cultivators, it would be even more useful. If it's used to refine corpses, souls, or devil cultivators, it would be a great tonic. I was saved by Ning Fan, but he did not let me go. My future is bleak. Fellow Taoist Qin, you don't have to feel so dejected. Fellow Taoist Zhou will let you go. Jingzhuo said with a smile while soaking in the cultivation spring. Impossible. Fellow Taoist Zhou is a cold and indifferent person. He kills mercilessly. It's already rare that he did not kill me. How can he let me go? Qin Xiu sighed. There's a woman who will plead for you. Jingzhuo laughed. Ning Fan soaked in the cultivation spring and leaned against the stone platform. He was exhausted both physically and mentally. Escaping from the hands of the spirit-severing demon general had exhausted all of his magic power, physical strength, and mental power. His injuries were even worse. However, his fatigue gradually disappeared in the mist of the spring. His injuries were also recovering at a relatively fast speed. He could not help but feel surprised. This cultivation spring was indeed a supreme treasure for cultivation and healing. 20 days was enough for him to recover 70 to 80% of his injuries. At that time, he might have to part ways with Suqiu. I'm a little reluctant. He shook his head with a bitter smile. He was being too sentimental. There was a formation around the cultivation spring to prevent people from peeping. The higher the quality of the cultivation spring, the higher the formation. The cultivation spring that Ning Fan was soaking in was one of the 3 best places in Edo City. Even nascent soul realm cultivators would not be able to spy on him. Even if they did, Ning Fan was not afraid of being seen bathing in Edo City where there were only women. Amidst the mist, the wooden door was pushed open with a squeak. It was Suqiu who walked in with a red face and a towel wrapped around her body. She was still disguised as Ning Fan's Dao companion in this city. According to the decadent custom of in-country, husband and wife should bathe together. Even though she was protected by Ning Fan, she was still slightly affected by the blood light and needed to use the cultivation spring to heal her injuries. Moreover, she wanted to plead for Qin Xiu. Thus, she had no choice but to endure her embarrassment and come to the same spring with Ning Fan. Oh, I was wondering who it was. So it's my Dao companion? Ning Fan teased. Suqiu's cheeks immediately turned red and her face turned as red as blood. Can't you be more serious? I'm already very embarrassed. However, you seem to be in good spirits. It seems like this cultivation spring is very helpful for your recovery. I'm slightly relieved now. Although she was relieved, Suqiu walked to the edge of the spring. She could not take off her towel and enter the bath no matter what. She secretly cursed. Why is the custom of in-country so open-minded? Even if they are Dao companions, they might not be so shy to bathe together. Even if they are husband and wife, they would still wear undergarments to cover their embarrassment even when they are having sex. If fellow Taoist Yin is embarrassed, you don't have to take off your towel. Just go into the spring. This cultivation spring is full of spiritual qi. Not only can it improve your cultivation level, but it can also nourish your skin. If you feel embarrassed even with a towel wrapped around your body, then I might as well close my eyes and not look at you. There's no need to go through so much trouble. Seeing Ning Fan purposely closing his eyes while peeking at her through squinted eyes, Yin Suqiu was extremely annoyed. When she thought about how Ning Fan had molested her feet when she was healing her injuries and how Ning Fan had seen every part of her body when she was under the evil claws of the female demon, she could not see much even if she was wrapped in a towel. Yin Suqiu gently bit her lips and finally made up her mind. She went into the spring. However, she still felt a little uncomfortable with the towel wrapped around her body. The distance between her and Ning Fan was about 1 zhang. She had something she wanted to say. Why are you hesitating? Are you begging me to let Qin Xiu go? Ning Fan smiled bitterly. This Yin Suqiu loved to uphold justice too much. If he refined Qin Xiu into a magical treasure in front of her, she would probably go crazy. Fellow Taoist Qin is a nascent soul realm cultivator of the righteous path. He has an upright character. I heard that when he was in his country, he once. Yin Suqiu wanted to talk about Qin Xiu's good points, but Ning Fan frowned and waved his hand. I'll let him go, but I don't want to hear you praising other men. He did not want to kill Qin Xiu in the first place. Qin Xiu was quite polite to him and even gave him his lifetime savings. Other than magical treasures and pills, there were more than 1 million immortal jade. I'll let him go then. Ning Fan's head was slightly heavy. Tiredness overwhelmed him and he fell asleep while leaning on the stone platform. The journey to the 4 countries was indeed tiring. Yin Suqiu blamed herself. Because of her, Ning Fan always did things that went against his will and always got himself into trouble. She did want to plead for Qin Xiu, but more than that, she wanted to say something to Ning Fan. After parting here, she was afraid that they would never meet again. These 20 days were the last time they spent together. What she really wanted to say was that she was reluctant to part with him. However, when Ning Fan started snoring, In Suchio let out a faint sigh. If that's the case, I won't have the chance to say it. You like to show off too much? After you improve your cultivation in the Endless Sea, you won't have to suffer so much. In Suchio stood up and quietly closed the distance between her and Ning Fan in the mist. She sat on the spring and they were almost touching each other. She mustered up her courage and hooked her arms around Ning Fan's neck. She pulled the sleeping Ning Fan into her bosom and pressed him against her soft body. Her face was filled with embarrassment, but she was reluctant to let go of him. She hugged him very, very tightly. Ning Fan slept very deeply. In the midst of the haze, he felt that his face was pressed against a soft and milky place. However, his eyelids were too heavy and he could not open them. The night in Edo was a little melancholic. Cherry blossoms danced in the air and fell into the spring. The atmosphere was charming. This was a place where people parted. The cultivators who entered the Endless Sea would go their separate ways here to pursue their own futures. I hope you will remember me. In Suchio's voice was so soft that it could not be heard in the night. She quietly kissed Ning Fan's lips. It was jerky and they parted immediately. Chapter 184. It couldn't be helped. His sea of consciousness had suffered an unprecedented injury. It would take a lot more time to recover compared to his physical body. He would need at least a few years to recover. It seemed like he could only enter the Lost World Palace to slowly recover. Qin Xiu was very surprised. Ning Fan really let him go, except for the mental seal. Fellow Taoist Zhou. Are you really willing to let me go? That's right. I heard that fellow Taoist Qin is a peak third revolution pill master. The reason why you are going to the middle state to participate in the pill gathering is to break through the bottleneck of your pill concoction technique. We are all pill masters. Of course, we have to help each other. Ning Fan was talking nonsense. That's right. Fellow Taoist Zhou is a fourth revolution pill master. I will never forget fellow Taoist Zhou's kindness of saving my life and letting me go. Qin Xiu almost shed tears of gratitude. He left Edo with a smile on his face. However, as soon as he left Edo, his expression turned cold. He regained the demeanor of a nascent soul realm old ancestor. His eyes scanned through the crowd of Gold Core Realm cultivators outside the city. When he found a peak Gold Core Realm cultivator, he revealed a cold smile. I'll choose him. Half a day later, Qin Xiu's nascent soul took over the body of that unlucky peak Gold Core Realm cultivator. He still needed some time to recover his nascent soul realm cultivation base. However, he was not in a hurry. He disguised himself as that cultivator and left in-country for the middle state. Ning Fan did not care about Qin Xiu anymore. Perhaps he would go to the middle state next year to participate in the pill gathering and meet Qin Xiu again. However, at that time, his strength would be far beyond Qin Xiu's imagination. The heaven-fleeing ships returned to their destinations one after another. The three of them stood by the sea, bathing in the sea breeze and watching the ships coming and going. In his hand was a jade slip with a map of the Endless Sea. The map covered tens of millions of li of the Endless Sea. However, it only covered 1/10 of the Endless Sea. The internal sea was 100 times bigger than the outer sea. The Endless Sea was very vast. The outer sea was still considered safe. The internal sea was a place where even nascent soul realm cultivators would not dare to enter. Among the thousands of floating islands in the Endless Sea, the 10 sects and 3 islands were the strongest. According to the rumors, there were a total of 103,000 islands in the inner Endless Sea, and many ancient tribes and beasts lived there. In Suchio's destination was one of the 10 sects, the Bai Yao sect. It was a sect that only consisted of female cultivators. Her childhood friend was the sect master here, and it was rumored that the Green Jade Immortal Island, where the Green Jade sect was located, had the sect master of this sect for several generations and had long been a deity transformation cultivator. Ning Fan and Jing's destination was the Penglai Immortal Island, one of the 3 islands. It was where the Lost World Palace was located. Amidst the sea breeze, Ning Fan kept the jade slip and turned to look at Suchio. After we part ways here, I wonder if we will ever meet again. I don't think so. That's good too. Suchio's expression was cold, as though parting was nothing to her. Is that so? Then it's really a pity. Recently, I've been sleeping soundly every day. I vaguely dreamt that I was lying on a soft place. If we part ways, I'm afraid I won't have such a treatment anymore. Ning Fan shook his head with a regretful look. Immediately, Suchio's face turned red and she stuttered. I don't know what you're talking about. Is that so? I'm probably dreaming. Ning Fan laughed and finally eased the atmosphere. The 7th ship floated up from the sea and the seawater poured down. The ship was about 1,000 feet long and could carry hundreds of people. As soon as the ship set sail, a female cultivator from Ing country immediately collected the money and welcomed the guests to board the ship. Fellow Taoists who are going to the Green Jade Immortal Island, you can board the ship after paying 30,000 immortal jade. Another 30,000 immortal jade. I've spent a lot of your money on this journey, right? Suchio said shamefully. It's just 30,000 immortal jade. It's still less than 970,000 immortal jade compared to the 1 million immortal jade that Yun Kuang bought. You've been treating me with a smile every day, and I'm the one who owes you a lot of money. Take this storage pouch. There's some immortal jade in it. You can use it? Suchio took the storage pouch and checked it with her spirit sense. Her face turned pale, but her heart was filled with warmth and sweetness. 500,000 immortal jade. Isn't it too much? It's not much. I'm just giving you half of Qinshou's assets. You're going to form your nascent soul soon. After joining the Green Jade sect, don't be reluctant to spend money. As for the female cultivators of Song country, I won't give them to you. There are so many of them. If they follow you on the heaven-evading ship, it will cost me millions of immortal jade. You still want to take them as human cauldrons in the end. Suchio lowered her head and felt slightly disappointed. I've promised you that I won't pluck them, so I won't. There will be no lack of human cauldrons along the way to the endless sea. They are your disciples. In the future, I will go to the Green Jade Immortal Island to see you and send your disciples to be your disciples. Before that, you just need to focus on your cultivation. Woo at the horn of the heaven-evading ship sounded, urging the cultivators to board the ship. Suchio kept the storage pouch and no longer said anything. Her gaze fell on Ning Fan's face and she smiled indifferently. I believe in you. She turned around and leaped onto the ship, the horn sounded. Finally, the heaven-evading ship sailed into the deep sea after a short journey. Ning Fan remained silent while Jingzhou comforted her. Fellow Taoist, you don't have to worry. This heaven-evading ship is a one-way trip. There is a divine transformation realm concealment formation. This formation is made of the endless sea's unique spiritual or the sea stone. It has a special divine effect in shielding one's senses. The only thing you need to pay attention to is the merman's blood. As long as there is no blood, there won't be any danger. You can go all the way to the Green Jade Immortal Island. Fairy Suchio will be fine. When your cultivation base is higher in the future, you can go to the Green Jade Immortal Island and make Fairy Suchio proud. Wouldn't that be a pleasure? Thank you for your kind advice, fellow Taoist Jing. As long as she is safe and sound, I will have nothing to worry about. The 8th and 9th heaven-evading ships emerged from the sea one after another. The 10th ship was the one that would go to the Penglai Immortal Island. Ning Fan and Jingzhou paid the immortal jade and boarded the ship. Under the sound of the horn, the ship sank into the sea. In the deep sea, the heaven-evading ship was like a water arrow, rushing towards the Penglai Immortal Island that was 37 million li away. Its speed was extremely fast. It was almost 100 times faster than the 7 apricot house. In just a few months, it would be able to cross 37 million li and reach the Penglai Immortal Island. Ning Fan remained silent throughout the journey. He stood at the bow of the heaven-evading ship and looked at the creatures in the sea under the cover of the formation light. 1 month, 2 months. Without the familiar sound of the flute, he was not used to it. Fortunately, Ning Fan and In Suchio's heaven-evading ship were on the same route in the first half of the journey. He could see a water arrow flying in front of him, but there was no ship. Because of the sea stone, even Ning Fan could not see In Suchio's ship. In Suchio most likely could not see Ning Fan's ship behind her. However, Ning Fan was still looking ahead. He could faintly feel that In Suchio was also standing at the stern of the ship, looking at him from afar. His heart was as heavy as the sea. In this vast deep sea, in this endless sea, the power of a cultivator was truly minuscule. Occasionally, there would be sea beasts that were bigger than mountains that brushed past the heaven-evading ship. The aura force emitted from them was comparable to a nascent soul realm old monster, causing the expressions of the passengers to change drastically. However, Ning Fan turned a blind eye to it. As for those sea beasts, they did not attack as if they could not sense the chi of the heaven-evading ship. The sea stone is really mysterious. On the 3rd month, the 2 ships sailed into the Black Reef Sea area and went their separate ways. The 2 hidden water arrows turned around and went their separate ways. 3 days passed and everything was still calm. However, on the 3rd day, the heaven-evading ship was in a panic. Ning Fan stood at the bow of the ship and frowned. He had a bad premonition. Fellow Taoist Jing, what happened? I don't know. It seems like one of the heaven-evading ships sent me a message asking for help. Which one? Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. Fellow Taoist, don't worry. It's definitely not Suchio Xianzi's ship. As soon as Jingzhu's voice fell, the anxious voice of the cultivators controlling the ship was heard. Fellow Taoists, something bad has happened. The 6th heaven-evading ship sent a warning. It said that a group of mermaids attacked the ship. It's not because of blood chi, but because a nascent soul realm devil cultivator used a secret technique to control the mermaids. As soon as he said that, the ship was in chaos. What? A nascent soul realm devil cultivator controlled the mermaids to attack the ship? Where did they come from? Why did they attack the ship? The mermaids have low spiritual intelligence. They can't be raised like ordinary demonic beasts. What kind of devil cultivator can even control the mermaids? The ship was in chaos, but Ning Fan secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was the 6th heaven-evading ship that was attacked. The route of the 6th ship was very far away from the 7th and 10th ships. Even if this ship came to the rescue, it might not be able to make it in time. Moreover, even if it could make it in time, why would the cultivators on this ship be willing to save strangers? Humph! We have paid the money. It's not our ship that was attacked. Why should we save them? Most of the cultivators who could afford to pay 30,000 immortal jades were Gold Core Realm experts. Even a nascent soul realm devil cultivator would be afraid of hundreds of them working together. However, these people did not know each other. How could they fight together? It was even more impossible for them to fight against the nascent soul realm old monsters and mermaids just to save a strange ship. Under the urging of the cultivators, the cultivator controlling the ship heaved a sigh of relief. In fact, he did not dare to save the ship that was attacked. Ning Fan closed his eyes and his expression was cold. To him, the 6th heaven-evading ship was attacked. It had nothing to do with him. Suddenly, he opened his eyes in disbelief. The voice of the cultivator controlling the ship resounded in the ship again. No, not good. The 6th heaven-evading ship was destroyed by nearly 10,000 mermaids. None of them survived. The 7th heaven-evading ship also sent a request for help. At this moment, countless cultivators on the ship turned pale with fright. A mermaid was enough to bite a Gold Core Realm cultivator to death. Nearly 10,000 mermaids. So many of them were controlled. This was definitely not normal. Our safety comes first. We can't save the 7th ship. If you dare to change the direction of the ship, I will kill you. Don't kill them. Once the blood chi is dispersed, we will be attacked by the mermaids. The people on the ship were in a panic. Ning Fan's mind was also in a mess. The seventh heaven-evading ship was where In Suchio was. "Fellow Taoist Ning, what should we do?" Jingzhua's expression was as calm as still water. In Suchio would definitely be in danger if the seventh ship was attacked. Moreover, there was a nascent soul realm devil cultivator holding the line. Putting aside the fact that the cultivators on his ship could not defeat the enemy, even if they could, they would not be able to save her in time due to the distance of at least 300,000 li. This was the heavens will playing tricks on people, just like his wife, Yunhua, who became a refined corpse in the end. In Suchio was probably going to die. His ship was also going to be in great danger. Jingzhua did not know how to advise Ning Fan. Suddenly, Ning Fan turned around and leaped out of the formation light of the sea tower. The moment he appeared in the sea, he immediately attracted the attention of several gold core realm giant beasts. However, Ning Fan's eyes were as cold as ice. With a sweep of his sword sense, all the sea beasts were turned into a pool of blood. "Fellow Taoist Jingzhua, go to Penglai Immortal Island by yourself. I will go to this island after I save her." "Fellow Taoist Ning, don't do anything stupid. The boundless sea is extremely dangerous. With your strength alone. With my strength alone, I can't let anything happen to her." At this moment, Ning Fan's black hair danced wildly. His eyes were as cold as ice and a demonic black mark appeared on the left side of his face. His body dispersed and turned into a black shadow. After a while, he was already 1,000 li away. This was his fastest instantaneous movement speed. In one day, no, in half a day, he could travel 300,000 li to save In Suchio. However, every time he teleported, the injuries on his sea of consciousness that had yet to recover would immediately worsen. Even if he was at his peak condition, teleporting 300,000 li would still cause serious injuries to his sea of consciousness. Now it was even more dangerous. But at this moment, there was nothing that could stop his footsteps. He swallowed a bottle of burning blood pill and numbed his injuries with his killing intent. There was only madness left in his eyes. Nothing must happen to her. Jingzhua's voice came from the sound transmission jade on his waist. "Fellow Taoist Ning, come back." According to the latest news, the grand formation of the seventh heaven fleeing ship has been broken. Fellow Taoist In is most likely. But Ning Fan clenched his fist and crushed the sound transmission jade. His eyes were cold but firm. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.